Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for the biggest roundtable review we've ever done for AEW, All Elite Wrestling, All Out 2021. Man, oh man, there is a lot to unpack from this show. I have an all-star cast of greats from the True Hill Heat YouTube channel and beyond. We have a special guest with us. It is going to be a crazy roundtable review. As per usual, our live correspondent was Drunk Guy JJ. We're going to hear his thoughts on video recap as well. But before we get into anything, I have to introduce this all-star cast. First up, we have the NWO connection. First up, the hot take king of the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, the fringe heel, the I think he said the omitted heel, Marcus Cash.
What's going on, everybody? I can't wait for us to have this love fest about this show.
I am sure you will not be in love with it, as always. Do the guys on the couch actually like wrestling? I'm sure we're going to get that comment twice or a few times in here. And the other half of the guys on the couch that don't like wrestling, it is the man of 40,000 subscribers, Jimmy Macram.
I like the show. Everybody like the show. It's a great show. Teamwork, same page.
He's ready to pull the Royale out.
I heard no type of sarcasm in that at all. We have with me my co-host from the True Hill Heat Weekly podcast on Saturday, the resident True Hill alcoholic himself, Top Guy JJ.
What a fucking night. Let's just go. Let's go. What's up, fellas? Let's go.
We have the ace in the face of the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, the connoisseur of reporting, Mr. Romeo Anthony Colon.
What is up, everybody? What a nice cast of characters we have here. I'm excited.
The three-time baby-making champion. This is Ness.
True Hills, what's the deal? Amazing show. Definitely ready for this roundtable review.
Our other live,
folks.
Of course, the other live correspondent that we have with us all the way in Chicago, Illinois, the man of 1,004 numbers, the StatKing.
What's going on, guys? I'm gonna save my voice for the actual review.
And then finally, we have a very, very special guest, one of my favorite people to discuss professional wrestling with, because he is a very intelligent person, watches a whole bunch of wrestling, and we're from the same era of wrestling as well as movies. He is the Charlie Conway to my Russ Tyler. We are Mighty Ducks brethren, and he is one of the correspondents for Fightful and the Fight Talk podcast, Steven Jensen.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? Thank you for having me on the show. Appreciate this. And I'm looking forward to talking about this because I'm a huge AEW fan. I thought this was a great show, so I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Yes, and as always, thank you everyone on the screen for joining us, and thank you everyone in the live chat for joining us live. Drop a like on this video, share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content right here. And we have a lot to unpack from AEW All Out, so if you want your comment to be highlighted, a super chat donation is the way to go. We will definitely highlight your comment, and we will give our thoughts on your hot takes and your opinions from AEW All Out 2021. As per usual with the roundtables, I'm going to start with the hottest thing on the show. I'm going to start from the end. We're going to go right to the main event of the evening. It was Kenny Omega defending the AEW World Championship against Christian Cage. The crowd was not as hot at the start of this matchup because they're coming off the heels of CM Punk. They're coming off the heels of a crazy Cage match, which we'll get to. But they got into this match as the work went on. Kenny Omega brought his A game, being the top form of a heel right now. Brilliant work by him, pulling out a bunch of his callbacks to his earlier classics. The double stomp off the apron with the table on top of Christian Cage, the Snapdragon suplexes. Christian made a great comeback, babyface fighting from underneath, hitting a Hurricane Rana from the top, a reverse DDT for a near fall. The Good Brothers brothers tried to get involved and help Kenny Omega defend the AEW World Championship, but they were taken out by Kenny with a V-trigger to Luke Gallows and Christian punching Carl Anderson off the apron. Christian reversed the One Ring Angel into a kill switch, and Kenny Omega is like the greatest sell of the kill switch ever, and he kicked out at 2. Don Callis tries to get involved, but Christian runs him off. He goes for a super kill switch off the top rope, but Kenny reverses, hits a top rope One Wing Angel for the win, but that wasn't it. The Elite come down, the Young Bucks all hurt, the Good Brothers, Don Callis, they jump Christian Cage, Jurassic Express comes down, and they try to get involved, but they are beaten up. Kenny says that he is the man. There's no one that can beat him. They're either not here, they're either retired, or they're dead. The lights go off, and we have a seance, because the man who comes back from the dead is none other than Adam Cole, baby. And Adam Cole is all elite, baby. As he comes down, it looks like he is going to have a confrontation with his former elite brethren, but instead he gives a super kick to Jungle Boy. He hugs the Young Bucks, they give him a kiss on the cheek, and he officially joins back up with the mans that conspired to kill him and rejoins the Elite. We get a celebration with them. We get story time with Adam Cole, baby. It seems that we are going off the air with the Elite standing tall as Kenny's giving his final saying. The music hits, the Ride of the Valkyries, and a remix hip-hop version of it hits, and Bryan Danielson comes down to the ring to an enormous pop from the crowd. They were given one big pop with Adam Cole, another big pop with Danny O'Brien or Bryan Danielson. I got to get used to that once again. The American Dragon is here. He stands up with Christian Cage and Jurassic Express. They face to face with Adam Cole, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks. Give me blood and guts, please. We get a showdown between the two sides. Kenny Omega runs off. Bryan Danielson hits the yes kicks, and then he hits the running knee, and the baby faces stand tall to end AEW All Out. First, I'm going to give the main event 4.5 stars. I think that Kenny and Christian worked very well with one another. It was a great, excellent main event. But let's go to Steven Jensen. What was your thoughts on the main event and then the post-match with the surprise debuts?
So I thought the match was really, really good. Like you said, I think that Kenny Omega sells the kill switch better than anyone. Like, that's a tough move too, because it's a goofy setup, and a lot of people, like, they don't fall quite right when he hits it. And Kenny just face plants, like, side of his head hits the ground, legs straight up in the air. I marked out huge. As you mentioned, Sid, for growing up and everything, I was a big Family Matters fan, right? So, like, when Kenny Omega hit that double stomp onto the table and he yelled out, "Did I do that?" I was like, oh my God, that's actually hilarious. Like, because Kenny Omega is so nerdy, you know what I mean? Like, coming from him, it all worked really well. And then he said it again in his post-match speech too, which I popped for again. Yeah, I mean, the match itself was incredible. And did you want my thoughts on the debuts also?
Yes.
Okay, so this was all done pretty perfectly, because I love how Adam Cole, like, he came back, got a massive pop, massive reaction, but everyone's still in the back of their mind, like, yeah, but everyone's expecting Bryan Danielson too. Does this mean we're not getting Bryan Danielson tonight? Does this, what's going to happen with this? But damn, we still got Adam Cole. This is insane. And then they pick up where were they left off, like 5 years ago. It's like Kenny, Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, the Elite, they're reunited. Like, it's insane. And I thought it was really smart to establish Adam Cole as a heel right off the bat. And then when Bryan Danielson came out, it was an even bigger reaction. And now, like, the rumors are true. Like, this is real. Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole are both all Elite. There's more coming. I mean, this is a crazy time to be a fan. And yeah, I thought it was really, really well done. I was saying going into the show, right? Like, I think Punk versus Darby should have been the main event, unless they were going to end the show doing something like this. And this is the perfect way to end the show, in my opinion, and gave the fans what they wanted. So 2 thumbs up for everything involved with the main event and the debuts, man.
Yes, great analysis right there. Let's go to our regular analysis on All Elite Wrestling. Jimmy and Marcus Cash. Let's start with you, Marcus Cash. What was your thoughts on the main event? I know you've never been too high on Christian Cage, but what also did you think about the debuts of Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson?
Yes, I want to see a regular ass announce.
Christian didn't bother me too much. I enjoyed this match. It wasn't my favorite match in the world, but it had a lot of cool spots. You know, the Kenny selling, as you mentioned, always fantastic. The spots with the tables, including where Christian got cut up on the side, really fun, really fun. So I enjoyed the match. Didn't feel until the surprises that this should have been the main event. Like this felt very like deflating that this was the main event for a lot of it. But then you had the lights go out. Adam Cole. I popped partially because of Adam Cole because that's cool, but mostly because I thought we were getting a swerve, and I was like, everybody's expecting Bryan Danielson. We got Adam Cole instead. I'm always here for a swerve. That's hilarious to me. But then we also get the double debut with Bryan Danielson coming in also, and I was like, this is great. I think both of our jaws were ajar at the moment because it was like, all right, we got two of them. This is cool. I would have just ended the night in general a minute or two early. Let the hand raising thing be like for the crowd. I would have ended with like the fighting and then the knees and then they're standing in the ring and then just cut. Okay. But overall, I was here for it. That was a cool night. Cool way to end the night.
What about you, Jimmy?
Pretty much everything he said. I would like to point out your suggestion that the crowd was dead because of all they got throughout the night. I would suggest has more to do with the main event in and of itself. I mean, it's Christian Cage, the main event of All Out. I love Christian, but come on. It's not really going to work. I was never a big Adam Cole fan. I didn't get to see much of him because I stopped watching WWE altogether. And then just in general, he looks like somebody who tried to create Triple H in the video game from like 2002, but didn't have all the requisite parts. So I was very unimpressed. But here he looked like a badass to me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like that picture, he's like, I don't know. Like I'm immediately in love with this guy because I love Nick Jackson. I hate Nick Jackson, but Nick's fine. And I'm here for all of it. And then we got Bryan Danielson. We did not get Final Countdown because apparently it costs a lot of fucking money.
Europe, charges up the yin yang.
Yeah, it hurts I gotta be honest, it hurt my fucking soul, but I still enjoyed it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I gave the match 3 3/4. I'm not sure you got 4.5 from it. Whatever you said. What? Huh? What are we doing?
Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega. We got to get the Kenny Omega boost. The Kenny Omega boost. Kenny Omega boost. What about you, StatKing? You were there live.
I gave the main event about 4 stars. The match itself was really good. It was a little bit deflating, considering what we had just witnessed before, and I'm not talking about the Paul White match. But the match it grew on you as it went along further and further, and Kenny, I think, realized that he had to get a little bit more out of it to be able to get the crowd back into it, and Christian was on the same page when it came to that. They did mess up the spear off the ring apron a little bit. They didn't get far enough out to really connect with the table as much. But besides that, great match. And I did like the fact that Kenny knew he was going to have to hit a one-winged angel off the top rope in order to be able to put away a guy who handed him his first loss in 2 years. As for the debuts, absolutely incredible. I myself forgot in the moment that it was obvious that Adam Cole was still a heel because he came out of the heel tunnel. But it was just you were kind of caught up in the moment that you just forgot that which tunnel he came out of, which was actually in and of itself kind of funny considering how another match ended and how somebody wasn't sure which tunnel they were supposed to walk back in. So there kind of, in a sense, was a foreshadowing, whether it was intended or not. As for the debuts,
wait, who was that? Who did that?
Punk.
He'll
Punk.
get to it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured he'd get to it later.
So with Cole coming out, we kind of knew because of all the reports that Bryan was going to make his debut, and we obviously haven't seen him throughout the entire night. So it kind of was one of those situations that while Cole was in the ring, even when they were on the mic and they were kind of talking, a lot of people actually were still kind of looking at the stage, expecting and waiting. And so there was kind of even more anticipation, more of a buildup. And in a way, it's what I like about it is we get the heels and the elite having gotten a new member, having bolstered their ranks, and they just have pulled off another, dastardly cheating defense. And now we see that, okay, well, the faces got somebody too. The odds are back to being a little bit more even. Let's see what happens. And it just kind of sets the tone for what we're going to see going down the road. And I agree with you. Blood and guts for that would be absolutely incredible. Oh, and one other thing was that what I really appreciated was that almost all of these debuts that we're getting, some of the big ones, there's one person who seems to be involved with a lot of them, and that's Jungle Boy. They are going out of their way to make sure that Jungle Boy has these moments, and we understand that this kid or this guy is going to be the future for AEW.
Yeah, and Bryan kind of pushed that even more in the post-match, post all-out promo for sure. What about you, Top Guy?
Oh man. So first for the match, I think you guys all pointed out, I was severely underwhelmed that when it was announced that they was going to be the main event, I was like, oh fuck, we're about to get like all the good shit, and Kenny is going to have to pull a miracle out of his fucking hat and make this match something, because the crowd is going to get juiced like 4 hours before these guys come out pretty much. And these guys, they didn't basically get a break until Paul White and Marshall came out. They went 3 straight hours of like fucking nonstop action and great spots and great matches. If you missed something, sorry for you, but match ended up being better than I thought. So I gave the match 4 stars. I was a little, I liked the Rampage match. It felt like there was a little bit more in that. Obviously, this match had a little bit more spots in it, but the fact that this was so predictable, I was just waiting for the outcome to happen. But the match was actually really solid, and the trade-off spots, the spots that these guys had, the Kenny jumping on the table and him, did I do that? Like, I love that shit. Like, Kenny is such a clown, and he's so spot on with his shit. Even when he botched his little rail shit, he's such a pro. When he botched that, he's like, yo, even Michael Jordan misses. So, like, Kenny is the shit, man. He is that dude, man. And for the debuts, my God, like, it's like, what more would you want to end the night? You don't really know if Adam Cole is gonna be there that night. We knew he was kind of coming, but it's like, was it gonna be that night? And we get Cole, we get the lights out, we get the guy rising from the dead, which we all fucking loved and marked out. I know I'm marked out for that shit. And as I think StatKing was still alluding to earlier, like, I was still like, all right, when are we gonna get the final countdown? Like, when are we getting that? But we don't get that. We get his ladder theme, and still, like, exuberance from everybody. Like, that shit was you like, it's kind of like one of those nights where you're gonna remember where the fuck you were that night when all of this shit happened. Like, you're gonna remember September 5th, 2021. Period. Like, last night was fucking incredible with the ending, and it's kind of like, what more would you want from a show finishing? That shit was phenomenal.
Yeah, I said it on Twitter last night after the show. Probably, it's arguable. It's one of the greatest pay-per-views, but I don't think it's an argument that was the best ending that I've seen to a major show because of the excitement that it brought to the whole wrestling industry. Ness, what was your thoughts on the main event and the debuts?
I gave the main event 4.25 stars. I'm in the minority. I would rather have your world title match in the show. I know we've seen the match already. I'm just a traditionalist like that. I really don't like when they throw the world title matches in the middle of the show, but to each his own. But again, these guys, they showed up. I agree that their Rampage match was a little bit better, but they try to add some entertainment spots in here to try to up it. definitely this table spots. Again, I want to piggyback off what Top Guy said when Kenny missed botched the moonsault. You know, it just felt like it, even though he botched it, it still felt like it was okay because of him being a ain't shit heel. So it was like, oh yeah, this guy fucked up. But then he was just like, oh, I'm Kenny Omega, I can do what the fuck I want, and then proceeded to do it anyway. Yeah, there was a lot of action in this match. But then with the post match, man, when Cole, so yeah, I watched this in AMC movie theater. That place was fucking lit when Cole came out. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, shit, you would automatically think that, you know, he's going to join the elite, be with his best friends and think of that. But these guys, quote unquote, killed him on BTE. So you're like, oh shit, what if he doesn't come back? You know, it's always that swerve that can happen. But then, you know, all is right with the world, and what happened exactly was supposed to happen. He joins up with them. But then when the Flight of the Valkyrie started, that place lit up again, and then a new version, which is a Bobski, definitely a Bobski. Bryan comes out.
I was jamming. I was dancing to that when it hit.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah. But it was just so much going on, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, you should space it out. Don't have it all happen at once. Like, this isn't going to stop. They're going to keep this momentum rolling. Like, it's going to be more than likely more people being added to their roster, more major debuts, things of that nature. So I love everything about this. And again, I want to piggyback on what StatKing said, with Jungle Boy being one of the focuses in most of these debuts, because he's clearly the future. They see a lot in him. You know, they put him with Christian. They have him coming out. They had Bryan Danielson come out to save him as well. So it's like they see that he's potential. They see his potential. And with Adam Cole super kicking him, that's a match I want to see. Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy. It's so much going on, and so much that's going to happen in the future just regarding him and these new signees and these debuts that we're gonna. I just hope that we just keep having these moments and having these feelings after their shows, just because it's just amazing.
For sure. I totally agree with a lot of what you said. And then finally, we have the person behind, if anybody was wondering what that banner, Chicago Deserves Everything, who wrote that? It is none other than truly heel Romeo. What was your thoughts? Let's hear it.
Add some objectivity, please.
You guys are putting me last like I'm going to kill this. Relax. It's way too much anticipation here. Kind of like there was anticipation for what was coming after this match. This match was always going to be overshadowed by what was coming after. I gave him 4 stars. Definitely no fault to effort. Christian was sweating like Patrick Ewing out there.
Wow.
A part of me is still salty. This was supposed to be Hangman Page's moment. His crowning, not Christian Cage. Hangman Page.
It would have been overshadowed, so it was the right move.
Well, you would have moved that other stuff elswhere. That's what you would have done.
No,
Yes, you would. Let me continue. I'm surprised nobody said anything about Adam Cole's theme. I thought that was good. It fit him.
Yeah.
Love Adam as a heel. You could have stopped it there, but AEW Tony popped a Viagra. They had to keep fucking. They had to ejaculate again. Bryan comes out. This stuff is overkill. 2 loads in less than 5 minutes.
Oh, shit.
Adam Cole overshadowed instantly. Let shit breathe. Spread it out. You don't have to come multiple times in 5 minutes. Chicago gets Punk, Bryan, Cole, 4 shows. Yes, it's amazing. Great moment, but what now? What now? AEW put their dick on the table. They got plenty of buzz, but they had buzz anyway with just one of those returns. Just one. Space it out.
I love that take. I don't agree with it, but I still love it somehow.
He said he was salty last night.
Oh no, he was very salty last night. He was crying.
Chicago deserves everything. New York sucks.
he reflooded the streets of New York with all of his tears. That's what I heard, at least. That's what I heard.
Can I also mention what I thought was a very concerning Bryan Danielson quote?
What?
I'll quote him here. WWE was so gracious with me as far as the offer that what they gave me. They were going to let me do some other stuff on the outside, but I hate to say this. Vince sometimes, he and I have a great relationship. I love him. I do. Sometimes he's overprotective of me. I want to be able to push my limits. That's one of the things that I love about this, is like the physicality of what we do out there, and being able to push my limits and being able to do that here in a safe manner is one of the things that really drew me here. Now, I completely ignored that word safe, and all of that really described to me is I want to really hurt myself here. I want a concussion.
Indeed.
He wants to kick somebody's.
That's what it felt like to me.
He wants to kick somebody's fucking head kicked in. I mean, it's simple. He wants to be the American Dragon again. Steven, before we went live here, you said that it was one of the greatest pay-per-views you ever seen. Where do you think it ranked all time?
I mean, that's impossible to say. And there's going to be some recency bias, right? I mean, the show just happened. I mean, that's a real thing. But like, I just have to preface. I mean, I started watching wrestling when I was 6 years old, 1994. I've never stopped watching. I watch every company I can. And I mean, I basically make a living at this point covering independent wrestling. I got to watch everything. And I honestly, when that show ended last night, especially when I saw the feedback on social media, I was like, damn, like this honestly was one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen. Like there was nothing about the show where I could look at that and be like, they shouldn't have done that, or this was bad, or like anything. Like the matches, all I want out of wrestling, by the way, it's the simplest ask ever. I just want storylines that make sense and good matches. That's literally it. Like you don't have to give me much more than that. You pepper in some surprises every now and then, like that's just icing on the cake. But just give me stuff that makes sense and give me matches that deliver. And that's exactly what I think the pay-per-view accomplished. Like, so yeah, I don't know if I could say it was like the best pay-per-view of all time, but this is the feeling I got after watching that was, you know, that was one of the best pay-per-views I've seen in recent memory. So
yeah, I would say probably 20 years I haven't felt that way after an event myself. Jimmy, where do you say the ending ranks as far as the greatest endings to a pay-per-view you've seen?
Pay-per-view? That's fucking up there. That's I cannot agree on a pay-per-view because I mean it just happened. It's like speaking of busting nuts, like you bust a nut, you tell the girl you love her. How about you wait before you decide that?
Supposed to wait?
Yes. But the finish is a fantastic finish. That's gun in my head, I'll go one, but I can't. Not at the moment. I can't give it to you.
Makes sense. Well, there is much more to talk about, but we do have one other person who did give their thoughts on the show. I don't know if Romeo has this queued up yet, but a certain drunk guy JJ gave his analysis on AEW All Out. Our live correspondent, his drunk reviews was such a hit for our SummerSlam Roundtable review. We decided to do it again, and I'm sure his emotions were a little bit different because they didn't advertise a match and then take it off the card. So, Romeo?
Get your freaking popcorn.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to get something right now.
Drunk guy JJ reporting today. After All Elite, we are in Chicago, and I can finally review a show and not be upset about anything. So because of that, I'm gonna drink. This is a celebratory drink. This isn't a upset drink. Nothing.
This is the blackest thing of all time.
My brother, Truly Hill Romeo, SP3, you know the gang. We are at StatKing's residence, his mansion in Chicago. All Out was amazing. I've been to wrestling shows, so many wrestling shows the last 23 years. I think my first show was 20 years ago. And out of 23 years ago into wrestling shows, this might be the best one I've ever been to. And that's saying a lot. All Out was great, man. It was nothing you didn't want as a wrestling fan that you couldn't get from watching All Out tonight. Great matches, not a bad match on the show besides that piece of trash. Paul White, QT Marshall match that shouldn't have even been up there to begin with. We got some very high quality debuts. Punk's return. It was cool. I marked out for Punk. I was finally happy to see Punk. As you know, I was happy to see him. I haven't seen Punk wrestle in forever, as most of us did. It's been 7 years, 7 long years. Great to see him back. The match was good. It was nothing great. He looked gassed, but of course I'm not upset. You know, we got what we wanted from Punk. This is his first match back. I'm sure things will get better. Darby got a lot of his shit in. It was great to see Punk get the GTS. I don't know why. I swore we were going to get a Pepsi plunge. We didn't even get an Anaconda Vice, you know. But it's the first time. It's the first thing going. Not really, nothing crazy happened, as you could say. But definitely good to see Punk back. I'm sure we'll get way more great matches leading up until to the rest of his AEW career. MJF, Jericho's match. It was cool. It didn't suck. I'm just out of it because I'm I am tired of Jericho and MJF feuding. This was the last match. So they say. Hopefully that is the case because I am tired of this shit. The match was good though. Jericho got the win as predicted. Again, this does nothing. This does not ruin MJF, as everybody was saying. It is what it is. It's going to be what it be. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, move on to that. The women's battle royal was cool. It was great to see Ruby Soho. You know, the crowd was going crazy singing that. Oh, the start of the show, we had Eddie Kingston and Miro, excuse me. Let's not be a mark here, Jake Warren. As predicted, a hard-hitting match. The crowd, we were going crazy for Eddie. You know, a fellow New Yorker, as I always say. I always go for the fellow New Yorkers. You know, Boricua, Morena, Dominicano, Colombiano. It was a great match. I love how it ended. So basically, I feel like this is going to set up a rematch for you know what? Grand Slam in New York City, baby. Kazenare came out. Fucking Minoru Suzuki showed up in All Elite Wrestling. I lost my fucking mind. That was so great to see. So much crazy shit has happened tonight. I almost forgot about that moment until now I'm telling you guys. Britt Baker and Chris Statlander had a really good title match. I didn't care for it when it before the show started, but they went out there and did their thing. And I loved Britt hitting Chris Statlander with the Panama Sunrise. We're going to foreshadow things later in the night. It was great seeing Jamie Hayter's fine ass out there. Lord Jesus, it's a fire. One of the matches, one of the greatest matches I've ever seen live. Again, the same team doing their thing. Lucha Bros, Young Bucks, Steel Cage. Wow. We got StatKing popping up like a pimple on prom night. He about to clap some cheeks. Matt pulls out the Travis Scott Fragments thumbtacks. Like, yo, like, what a pop for that? Because people probably was like wondering why I was even popping for that. Y'all don't get that, man. That was $3,000 shoes with fucking thumbtacks on the bottom. They got, Lucha Bros got performed to the ring by the Spanish people. Phoenix and Pintail bleeding like a stuffed pig. Bleeding like a female on the first day of their period. Or whatever. Great match. Whew, match of the night for me by far. Omega and Christian had a great main event. Way better than their Rampage match. I felt like the crowd felt a little flat because of course everybody was expecting debuts after the match. But I love that match. Boom. Adam Cole, baby, makes his debut for All Elite Wrestling. Crowd, shit, I went fucking, I'm saying crowd goes crazy like I wasn't there. I went fucking crazy, man. Oh my God. So he gets in the ring. Automatically, he fucking super kicks Jungle Boy. I cannot wait to see the battle of the long hair between them two. Man. So he joins the Elite. They say, that's my best friend. All right. As soon as that happened, we already know what to expect next. Unfortunately, we didn't get the final countdown. We got some fucking rap. some rap Flight of the Valkyries bullshit. That song does not fit Bryan Danielson at all. Bryan Danielson debuts, we go fucking crazy. Holy shit, what a fucking moment. Bryan Danielson out there with the man bun looking drippy, fresh white tee and cargos, his vegan sneakers, looking like $1 million. Crowd is insane. Comes in, kicks the living shit out of Nick. Shout out to Nick, man. They just went through having a crazy ass cage match. He's in there taking kicks from fucking Bryan Danielson. He cuts a promo after the show went off the air from what I saw about he was happy working where he was at, but it's just coming to AEW, just something about being AEW, which is so much fun. And I don't fucking blame him, man. I'm not the guy to choose sides when it comes to wrestling. Because at the end of the day, it's wrestling. It's fucking wrestling. It's wrestling. So I'm not that guy, but goddamn, man, AEW they're on fucking fire right now. Like, in the last, 3 weeks, they've gotten Punk, Bryan Danielson, and Adam fucking Cole. That's crazy. That is crazy, yo. This was definitely this has to be the greatest show I feel like I've ever seen live. Unless The Rock comes out, grabs me from behind the barricade and has me go in the ring and do his pose with him. And I don't see that ever happen. The Viper God, same thing, making me a tag team partner. None of those things are happening. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. Probably 9.5. The LVP was people who didn't watch the show. I can't even give an LVP for this show. The MVP of the night is definitely me for being at the arena. I love wrestling. I love professional wrestling. This is why I go out my way to go to every show, travel around the world. Just had a kid, leaving my girl at home like a piece of shit. Don't be me, be better than me, as I tell everybody. This is where you follow the game at. Right here. Follow Chill Hill Heat.
He really made a
look
sign.
right there.
He made a fucking
like
sign.
saying my
Yeah, I
usual
have to give him my
shtick.
Sharpies.
I don't even want to do Roy the Ross.
He even used the sign at the show?
He's like,
Oh, yeah, no, he did.
why am I being tortured, It's like you're putting me like I'm a slave. You're just whipping me. Vince McMahon just got a whip, red raw whip, and just whoosh. Watch Roy.
What? Yo, turn this shit off. What is
I'll
this?
let you guys later.
He heard you. He heard you. He heard you and went off right. Yeah.
Yeah, no. This was the other side of it. I flew to Chicago for CM Punk.
That's beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Malcolm X
Nice.
rolled over the grave.
I had to take the CVS to get the poster board and everything. It
Yeah,
was
that's
great.
so cute.
Very nice.
And this was full when he got here on Friday. And by Friday night, I mean when he got here at like 9:00 at night on Friday.
Please, super chat donations will go towards StatKing refilling his alcohol cabinet now that drunk guy JJ is now gone from his crib. But yes, we always
sponsoring him for rehab.
He obliterated.
or that either or. But yes,
CP or something like that. Jesus, what was that?
we got to continue on with the card. We'll start from the buy-in since we talked about the main portion and the part that everybody was talking about first. Of course, drop a like on this video if you're just joining us now. Share it on all your favorite social media platforms. And like I said, super chat donations are always appreciated, and we will highlight your comment for sure. And of course, Pat McAfee had to tweet out his opinion of the occurrence of Adam Cole debuting in AEW. He said, I would have ran elsewhere too. A bunch of WWE stars commented on this show, from Cedric Alexander saying that he's jealous of his wife and where she works. That was a big one for me.
That's not gonna blow back on him at all.
Yeah, I mean, what else can they do? He's not.
Yeah,
on
how can it get any
TV.
worse than not being on TV at all?
He don't got a hurt business to go back to. So yes, we should talk about.
That's what.
The best thing they can do is release him.
Yeah, exactly. If they release him, he's gonna get signed up to AEW or somewhere else where he can get used more. But yes, we
Brady next week.
We should talk about the buy-in match very quickly. It was a 10-man tag of Orange Cassidy, Wheeler Yuta, Chuck Taylor, and Jurassic Express against the Hardy Family Office, Matt Hardy, Private Party, and TH2. I thought that this was a good way to kind of kick off the show. Everybody really got highlighted. You got a human centipede of submissions. We had a chicken fight between Jurassic Express and TH2. We got Marco Stunt with a dive to the outside on the Blade, which got one of the biggest pops of this matchup. And in the end, it was Jurassic Express double teaming Angelico and locking in the snare trap to get the submission win here. I thought that this was a fun way to have a pre-show match and kick off the show. I gave it 3 stars. Ness, what about you?
All right, so I didn't get to see this, and then as soon as I actually did tune in on YouTube, it was just Orange Cassidy standing in the middle of the ring with his hands in his pockets. So I guess it would have been good. It sounded like it was good. It sounded like it was entertaining, you know.
For the most part, it was. What about you, Top Guy?
Hey!
Oh yeah, I forgot about the post match because I know this would get Jimmy and Cash happy. That the Blade, he returned following the matchup to jump Orange. Oh, excuse me, the Butcher. Excuse me, the Butcher. Andy Williams, returns to AEW from injury. He came out and attacked Orange Cassidy after the match. So the Hardy Family Office is finally all back together, and Jurassic Express came back out along with the Dark Order, Dante Martin, and Varsity Blondes to run them off. And we got a best friends hug with John Silver looking the joyous he's ever looked in front of the crowd inside that hug. Top Guy JJ, what did you think about the pre-show match and the post-match?
There was so much going on in this match. Like this was like, let's just figure out a way to get all these motherfuckers on the card. Like, let's just have them have a good 5-10 minutes, and let's just they made it to All Out. Cool, great. Good pre-show match. Gave it like 3 stars. It was fun to watch. Nothing special. And yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see the Butcher. It was cool to see the Butcher come back. But all in all, they still got ran off and knocked off by all the gigantic group of best friends now. Like now it's like 39 best friends now all of a sudden. Yeah, it was a lot going on for me right there. I liked it, but I was like, this is just too much. Too much going on here for me.
Had to get everybody on the card. What about you, StatKing, being there live?
I actually missed most of the buy-in match. I'm not gonna lie. I about halfway through it, I realized this was probably the prime time to get anything of food if you were going to go. So honestly, my biggest takeaway or gripe from that time period was that the concession stand was only selling water and alcohol, didn't have soda. That's what I got from the buy-in match.
Great on-location correspondence right there. Steven, what about you?
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good match. You know what I mean? It's what you would expect. One thing I'll say that a lot of people probably won't agree with, but this is more so because I'm like familiar with so much of his work, like pre-AEW, but I'd like to see Marco Stunt involved a little bit more in some of the matches. Like, I understand his size, and I know he's not for everybody, but like if you ever go back and watch anything he did with Southern Underground Pro or Subcraps in Nashville, or even his GCW stuff, like he can really work. It's just you have to do it in a certain way that makes sense. But I feel like he gets boxed out a lot. Like Jurassic Express gets to do a lot of stuff. He's usually just kind of on the outside, not doing a whole lot. But I like seeing it's like y'all were saying, like it was a good way to get everybody on the show. And I thought this was a solid buy-in match. And you can't have an AEW pay-per-view and not have Orange Cassidy involved at all. I mean, I know he was with Statlander as well, but yeah, this all made sense. I thought it was solid.
Yes, and from someone bigging up Marco Stunt, we should go to Marco Stunt's number one detractor, Marcus Cash. What was your thoughts on the buy-in?
So you advertise, first off, let's not omit anybody, Matt Hardy and Marco Stunt on a pre-show. I was not watching this. I was actually
Yo, what the?
I was actually doing the watch along with the True Heroes on YouTube, listening in on this match because I couldn't review it. So I don't really have a rating or any feedback on it, except for what I did hear is that obviously the faces are going to win. Fine with that. Submission, okay. Snare trap win, that's cool. But considering who's in the HFO and in that match, why are we having Angelico, the submission specialist, tapping out to the snare trap when we got Jack Evans right there that we can blow over? What are we doing? But other than that, good for the faces. Marco stunt included, I suppose.
Because he had to take a job during the commercial break on Wednesday, so they wanted to spare him here. Jimmy, what was your thoughts on the buy-in?
I didn't watch it. I missed the Butcher's return because I refuse to watch anything Matt Hardy's involved in. I am boycotting, doing my part. You do yours.
You're trying to get Matt Hardy fired. I don't appreciate that.
He needs space anyway.
Romeo, what was your thoughts?
Marco.
Butcher returns to a faction he has zero chemistry in. Please disband the Hardy family office. Disband it. Get rid of it. I gave this 2.25 stars. And Orange Cassidy from Mimosa Mayhem to Buy-in Mayhem. Wow, what a fall! What a fall from grace, Orange Cassidy.
I knew we would get your honest opinion on Orange Cassidy more than the buy-in match.
I gotta agree. Get the Butcher and the Blade out of the Hardy family office.
Please.
Yeah, just break that whole shit up.
Get Matt Hardy out of the Hardys.
Just break that whole shit up. Just break that whole shit up, man. They even fucking a private party with that shit now.
Hey, once Jeff is signed, we'll be done with the Hardy family office. We got to start off the main show with a lot of our favorites because we're from New York City here. Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston was the first person to come out to a huge pop from the Chicago crowd as we kicked off things with Miro versus Eddie Kingston for the TNT Championship. I thought that this was well worked and it exceeded a bunch of expectations, and it was exactly how I thought it would be, a heavyweight slugfest. Eddie told us his game plan going in. He was going after the neck, so he had a lot of chops, a lot of suplexes. Miro was in his heel form, carrying Eddie like a baby at one point and slamming him down. In the end, it was Bryce Wensberg trying to stop Eddie from using the exposed turnbuckle. He tried to put the turnbuckle pad back on while Eddie hit the DDT for a great near fall. Then he blocked Eddie from hitting Miro with the exposed turnbuckle. That gave Miro the opportunity to hit a low blow. He hit an enziguri and then a running Mashka kick to get the victory here. I thought that this was a really good opener to the show. I gave it 3.5 stars. Jimmy, what was your thoughts?
I realized, wow, this is the greatest pay-per-view of all time. Apparently, I just have to add half a star to everything, and it does become the greatest pay-per-view of all time. I gave this 3 stars. I really like this match. I like Miro and Eddie as characters. I like them as opponents. The fact that Eddie managed to get this match over with one phrase on Rampage works for me, big time.
Can't wait to get the t-shirt in the mail.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's gonna be a great one.
Redeem these nuts.
It's so ridiculous.
And his nuts got redeemed because he got the low blow.
Long-term storytelling.
Absolutely. Tony Khan, the great. Shut up. I'm glad they didn't have Rick Knox in the spot, by the way, where he got to look like an idiot, as he always does. Let's spread this out a little bit. Now we got Dummy over here.
Oh, Bryce.
Bryce overacting Rumsberg, looking like an idiot. I'm here for it. I'm glad they didn't have Miro tap him out. 5 weeks. I'm here for it. I like that match.
What about you, Cash?
If you had told me Miro and Eddie Kingston is my 3rd favorite match of the show, I would have called you a liar. But yeah, no, this was a really good match. Definitely higher than 3 stars, maybe 3 3/4, 4 stars.
See, not you two.
I really love this match.
Tony Khan bump.
No, Tony Khan's not a bump. But I really love this match. So I was here for it. Pillar to post. I loved everything about this match.
It worked.
Yo, what the fuck?
It worked because Bryce cares. Oh, shut up. Go away. No.
Bryce cares. And Bryce Rensburg is always Eddie Kingston's referee, and because they're best friends. Romeo, what was your thoughts on the opener to the main card?
3.25 stars from me. It sets up a reasonable rematch. Eddie has a nice story here to set up better promos, hopefully at Arthur Ashe Stadium. And I'm happy for Miro. I'm happy he's getting this spotlight. And no Lana, I'm glad that didn't need to be involved in this.
I agree with you there. What about you, Steven? What was your thoughts on the opener to the main card?
Thought it was really good. I was highly anticipating it. Honestly, I think Miro is doing the best work of his career right now. Like, I was never a huge Rusev fan in the WWE. Like, a lot of why he was so over, in my opinion, in the WWE was Aiden English and the whole Rusev Day thing. Like, I never fully bought into it as Miro himself. But I think him in AEW as the TNT champion has been really good lately. And Kingston, it's just wild to see. It's really cool to see where he's at with AEW and how much the fan base has accepted him in and how crazy they go for him, because he was out there on the indies for 2 decades. I remember watching the match, I was watching the show live on IWTV when he wrestled Brett Eisen in the backyard. I think it was an ICW show. And he did that promo where he called out Nick Aldis and Cody Rhodes and and the next thing you know, he's on AEW wrestling Cody. And it's oh my God, they actually might use Eddie Kingston. This is insane. Because we'd only really seen him mainstream, if you want to consider NWA or Impact mainstream, which you kind of, they don't have the kind of buzz of AEW, obviously. So it's to see where he is right now and where he was only a couple of years back, literally selling his gear for rent money. It is awesome to see where Eddie Kingston's at right now in AEW. And he's a dude who, he loses most of his big matches in AEW, but it doesn't even matter. He's so over and he looks so good in defeat that he continues to get elevated on the show, even though he's losing the big blow off matches a lot of the time. So, and he's always got the allegiance there with John Moxley to do stuff with him. There's just a lot of options for him and commentary. So that's really my big takeaway. I thought the match was really good. But more importantly, I think Miro's in the best spot of his career. And I think Eddie Kingston, it's remarkable to see where he's at right now, considering how long it took for him to get here.
100% agree with everything you said about Eddie. I think Jimmy had the best analysis on Eddie when he first debuted in AEW. I think you said, Jimmy, that it reminded you of your uncle at the barbecue. And it was that realism that you just don't feel in every wrestler. That's Eddie Kingston in a nutshell. Top guy JJ, what was your thoughts on the opener?
Eddie Kingston is a classic case of him just going out there and making you respect him. He honestly, I didn't know all that much about Eddie Kingston for maybe until 5 years ago, but just what he's done since he's arrived in AEW has been nothing short of fucking phenomenal. He's basically the best in the game on the microphone at the babyface level right now. Basically, it feels like him and Mox just sit there and just really take this crap and they really they make it their own. They are so good at this shit. And Miro, my God, Miro, I was having some trepidations about Miro when he was doing this whole best man shit with Kip Sabian. I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Yeah. But as soon as he became the Redeemer and God's favorite, and he started taking it, it's once he cut that promo, you got a title, you got a problem. That shit was it changed his whole aura around. And I agree with Steven. This is literally the best work of both their careers. And the outcome, I want to see more now. It's that this outcome made me want to see more. I gave this match 3.5 stars. This match was really there was really great turnaround between both these guys back and forth. There were some points where kind of, oh shit, Miro was in trouble. This is obviously Miro's toughest match so far as TNT champion. This was awesome. I want to see more of this.
Definitely, and the finish did leave the door open for them to continue their feud. Ness, what was your thoughts on the opener to the main card?
This was a great opener, honestly. I gave this match 3.5 stars. A lot of physicality at one point where they just pan to Miro's chest and it's just red and just purple. Just fucked up from all the chops that, Eddie Kingston was giving them. And it was just a lot of physicality, a lot of brutality back and forth. And yeah, there was points at this time. And I'm like, damn, is Miro really going to lose? Is Eddie Kingston going to hand him his first loss in AEW? And, Miro's just no, that's not happening. I got my God on my side, made Eddie pay for his sins with his nuts. going forward, I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch. This match was great. Like, and Eddie has a claim to make, saying, hey, "Look, you cheated, guy. You had to kick me in my nuts. I had to use a low blow. You didn't just straight up beat me, dirty finish."
He
So
used his
again,
T-shirt against him.
exactly, yeah. So it works, and it's better now. There's going to be even more merchandise sold after this match because of the match itself. So that's great.
And I love Delana after the show saying that she's going to redeem Miro's nuts for him. That's
goddamn.
that's having a hot wife.
Real tweet.
That was a great tweet from Lana.
What about you, StatKing?
This match was a really great opener. The crowd was super hot for it. I gave this one 3.5 stars as well. Bryce instantly became the most hated man in the building after the way that match ended. But it for a match that we were kind of all talking on the preview show, how we kind of expected them to find a way to stretch it to Arthur Ashe. I think they found a pretty good way of doing so, in that it really, really was not Eddie's fault. And I did like the fact that they did have the spot where he, it's the audible 1, 2, 3 count by the fans. But yet again, even then, Bryce fucked up there too, because when he was talking to the timekeepers area, he was clearly also looking over his shoulder and seeing that Eddie was pinning Miro, so he fucked up twice in the match, but it was a really good one. Kept the crowd hot, and Eddie Kingston's connection with audiences is simply amazing. The man can cut a promo on anything at any point in time. I remember the BTE bits where they would just hand him like a bag of chips or cookies or whatever, and they'd say like, just cut a promo on this, and somehow he found a way to just talk about this bag of cookies as though it was the most important thing in his life. He had suffered through hell, dragged himself through glass in order to have this bag of cookies, and he would die before anybody was able to take this bag of cookies from him. And that is an incredible connection. And I'm just hoping that if there are plenty of guys who can be teaching promo class in AEW, I really hope that he's one of them.
Absolutely agree there. If you're watching us right now, just joining us, drop a like on this video. It helps out the video a lot. It gets other people's attention. We got a bunch of people watching across all 3 platforms, so those thumbs up are always appreciated. And if you want your comment highlighted, super chat donations are even more appreciative. And we got to move on to the next match. It was AEW versus New Japan Pro Wrestling, as Jon Moxley with GCW hoodie and all. I know that made Jensen very happy seeing that. The new GCW champion versus Satoshi Kojima, a New Japan Pro Wrestling legend. The story of this match was pretty simple. Kojima has the best lariat in the game, and he kept trying to go for it. Moxley at one point tries to go for his own lariat, but Kojima's arm is so strong, he used it to block it and hurt Moxley in the process. He tries to go for one more lariat, but Moxley reverses it into the paradigm shift. He hits one more, or more like the Death Rider, and gets the 1, 2, 3 for the victory. I thought that this was a strong back and forth matchup, very similar to like the New Japan never open weight style of matches. And I gave this one 3 3/4 stars. I might be the high one on this, but I really, really like this match. And this was the type of wrestling that I enjoy. Ness, what was your thoughts?
I actually gave this 3 3/4 stars as well. A lot of physicality again, just like the opener, just a little bit more. I know a lot of people going into this match weren't too sold on it being Kojima. They wanted somebody like Okada or Naito, so like one of the major stars from New Japan.
Only you wanted Naito.
No, because he wanted to take the loss, and I definitely didn't want to see that. But Kojima brought it. He definitely brought it. Even and I like the fact that they told his history. Him being a double holder of the All Japan.
Triple Crown and
Triple
the
Crown title,
IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
So if anyone wasn't familiar with who he was and what he stands for, they did a very good job on commentary, getting that information off. But then they just showed it in the match. I think that having all these guys face off against Jon Moxley is great, because he pretty much wrestles the style that they are pretty much wrestling New Japan. You know, it's that hard hitting, that brawling style, that back and forth where it's like it's either you or me. One of us got to make it, and I'm sure it's hell not going to let it be you. And they showed it in this match too. So, and I also like the fact that at the beginning of the match, Kojima tried to, wanted to shake his hand, show him some respect. Mox was like, "Nah, you'll get that after the match, after I kick your ass." And then
Gave him a middle finger.
Yeah, gave him a finger. Yeah, it was like after the match, he went to show him respect. Oh, can I speak on what happens after
I was gonna mention that after the match, Moxley was in the ring and the music hit, the vintage music of the King, Minoru Suzuki, and the crowd, the roof blew off of the Now Arena in Chicago, Illinois. They were singing along to Minoru Suzuki's theme. He went face to face with Jon Moxley, and in a replay of what happened at Wrestle Kingdom 14 when these men first went face to face, they started trading strikes, and then eventually Minoru Suzuki got the advantage. He got the rear naked choke and then the Gotch style power driver, and Minoru Suzuki stood tall to set up a match on Moxley's homecoming in Cincinnati, Ohio. This had to be a Moxley request that I want to verse Minoru Suzuki in my hometown. Like he had to request this himself. Jon Moxley will verse Minoru Suzuki in the main event of Dynamite this week. Yes, Ness, what was your thoughts on the Minoru Suzuki debut in AEW?
Fucking pop for that as well, because definitely we had our, possibly Bryan, possible Adam Cole, those were the only ones that we were really looking forward to or expecting. So this came out of left field and it just blew the roof off the place. At the stadium, again, in the movie theater I was in watching it, everybody started marking out. It was great, and I just want to see this match.
And StatKing, since Chicago deserves everything, what was your thoughts on being there live for Kojima and Moxley and then the Suzuki appearance?
This was a really good match, but it felt kind of weird because this was shorter than the opener, but it felt as though it was longer, and I felt as though that was because they kind of were spending a little bit of time trying to buy time on the outside a lot. But this was nice and hard hitting, and as a follow up to the opener, just keeping that level of physicality going was something that I appreciated a lot. And it never gets old to me when Moxley does the bowing thing to people, whether it's to the crowd, whether it's to his opponent, whatever the case may be. But this was, that's one of the reasons why I do want to rewatch the pay-per-view. Something that Ness brought up about how commentary was really well done for different things is because you do miss that sometimes as the live crowd, and it worked. It reinforces the fact that in wrestling, part of what makes you a good wrestler is to be able to tell a good story. And I think that they did do that here, of Moxley's level of arrogance running into Kojima's just, you're gonna have to hit me harder than that if you wanna knock me down. And Moxley saying, well, all right, I'll have to do that. And as for Suzuki coming out, this is incredible to think that a match that has been teased for so long is gonna just be on Dynamite. But that's something that AEW is able to do just because of how stacked this roster is and how just it's not even a door anymore. It's a forbidden turnstile. People can just come and go as they please, and we get matches like this because of it. So that the reaction to Suzuki was incredible. There were some people around me who didn't really know who Suzuki was. After the segment, they definitely did know who he was, and that was just a great moment. Oh, and I gave the match 3.5 stars.
You muted.
I know Jimmy and Cash are not too familiar on New Japan. What did you guys think about Minoru Suzuki's appearance and Kojima versus Moxley?
Suzuki's appearance, first of all, he looks like a psychopath. I was here for it immediately.
Exactly.
Immediately. I'm like, this guy's out of his fucking mind. Whatever he's about to do, I'm on his side. As for the match, this to me was where I thought I felt Pac and Andrade missing, because to follow Miro and Eddie with this match felt like an odd choice to me. Kind of similar, less stakes. Match was fine for what it was, though. I can't complain. I always enjoyed Jon Moxley's style. I had no complaints.
Cash?
Yeah, I had zero idea who Kojima was before this match, and I had zero idea who Kojima was during this match. I had zero idea who Kojima is after. He gave me nothing to care about him for during this match.
Jesus.
This was a John Moxley showcase? Question mark.
Wow.
However, Minoru Suzuki, who I also don't know, coming out looking like a complete psychopath. I was here for that, even though he looks significantly older than the other old man I just saw. Like,
He does.
He does.
he looks so much more interesting. And now, because I have to be upset about something, because I'm on the couch and I don't like wrestling, why didn't we just get Suzuki at All Out instead of this other dude that, I'm going to say didn't matter because I don't watch Japan.
Because, like I said, Moxley requested to verse with Suzuki in his hometown. I gave you the alley. All you had to do was put it in the hoop.
All Out. You can have the other old mess.
You didn't need it. You would have been. I almost forgot Suzuki was on the show before reviewing this because of the debuts at the end. You didn't need Suzuki in a match on this card. Top Guy JJ, what was your thoughts?
This match, I was a little underwhelmed because I wanted to see a little bit more. This match was a little short for me. I just thought that the trade-offs were cool, but it felt like a TV match. But come on, like I didn't even join the live stream until fucking after Minoru Suzuki came out. Once I heard that music and then sort of confirmation on the video on the Tron, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not joining this because I got that TV all the way up. Like I was all here for that. Like I love me some Minoru Suzuki, boy, but damn, it was like this is a tease. This is a tease to the 3-star match ish that we just got. It was cool match, but I'm waiting to see what happens afterwards. I can't wait for Dynamite on Wednesday to see this match because this match on All Out was nah. It was not that great to me.
Hey, they needed something big for the fallout from All Out. So I like the fact that they booked Suzuki and Moxley for Cincinnati.
Good play. I just wish this match was a little better.
Romeo, what was your thoughts?
I agree a lot with what Top Guy said, what Marcus said, what Jimmy said. This match, it felt like we just saw a better version of this match just minutes before with Miro and Eddie. So this was like a step down. I gave it 2.5 stars. Everyone wishes this was
Because New Japan sends us copyright.
This is what we wanted. Suzuki, that's fun. The Forbidden Door is fun. I'm liking it.
And Steven, what did you think about Kojima and Moxley and the appearance by Minoru Suzuki, the murder grandpa?
So, yeah, it wasn't Tanahashi, right? I think that's part of the issue people have is that people have their hopes up for Tanahashi versus Mox. Now, there's a lot to kind of unpack with all this, right? But I think there was a lot of good, but I'll preface it by saying I don't think this was, as y'all were saying, I don't think this was as good as Miro versus Eddie Kingston, and it was similar in a lot of ways. But Kojima's been wrestling for like 30 years. It's cool to see him on American TV in front of this many people in a match like this, just like for his career, like that he got to do something like this in the US. He's been having a pretty decent run in Impact Wrestling this year. He had a good match with Joe Doring earlier this year for Impact that I thought was really well done. Joe Doring, well known from his time in All Japan as well. So as far as Kojima, I was happy for the guy, but he's not to the level of a Tanahashi, for instance, right? It's just keeping it real. But as far as when it comes to Moxley, I love seeing all this with Moxley. Like, I love seeing him wrestle so many guys from New Japan. I love that he was rocking the GCW hoodie. Like, I watched GCW show the night before where he won the world title at Art of War Games. So what Moxley's doing, I think, is pretty incredible. Now, when it comes to the debut of Minoru Suzuki, I got really hyped up for that. For those of you who don't know, like, Minoru Suzuki founded Pancrase, which was like one of the first MMA organizations ever. Like, they were pre-UFC, pre-everything. So I've been a very big fan of Minoru Suzuki's mixed martial arts career and his professional wrestling career. And to see what he's doing right now, like he's going on a whole tour of the United States right now. He's wrestling indies all over the place, doing just a dream match tour. And just one of those matches is going to be Moxley on Dynamite this week. So I marked out huge. I love that the fans knew his song and like knew when to pop for it and everything. Yes. So it was, as a big fan of Minoru Suzuki for a lot. And the funny thing, if y'all haven't seen Minoru Suzuki, y'all can watch his stuff from like 15, 20 years ago. He looks exactly the same, just younger. But it's like in his face. It's wild. Like you can tell it's him, but he looks like so much younger. But yeah, I was a fan of all this. But like y'all said, it wasn't as good as the opener. But decent match from Kojima. Moxley continues to do cool stuff and use the Forbidden Door to just keep doing all the matches. Imagine being John Moxley, right? Like you could have been making millions of dollars to not even wrestle. You can just walk around wearing a gas mask, talking about how every city smells bad that you go in with WWE.
You don't have to doing this right now.
Don't you have to do anything, right? Just get millions of dollars to not even really have to wrestle. But this dude left that to go do death matches with, in GCW, to wrestle Minoru Suzuki, to go to New Japan, to drink flasks.
That's great.
So I'm a big John Moxley fan. I really like what he's doing in the world of wrestling right now. So I was all about this. The match itself, okay, but what it's leading towards, I think it's going to be really cool with him and Suzuki on Wednesday.
In a matter of 24 hours, he beats Matt Cardona for the GCW World Championship. He goes face-to-face with Nick Gage. He beats Kojima and then goes face-to-face with Suzuki. Yes, John Moxley is living his best life. Next up, you had the AEW Women's World Championship. Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. with Rebel and Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander with Orange Cassidy. I thought that this, once again, Chris Statlander looked impressive with her strength. She did a nice electric chair drop on Britt Baker, hit a nice scissors kick for a near fall. She got tripped up when she tried to go for a moonsault off the apron. Britt used that to gain the advantage and do a curb stomp off the ring steps. We got actual emotion from Orange Cassidy at that point, rallying Chris Statlander to get back into the ring. When they get back into the ring, they trade good moves. The moment of the match, of course, was the Pittsburgh Sunrise, by Britt Baker, teasing the appearance of her significant other later on in the night for a near fall. She followed up with a curb stomp for a near fall and then locked in the lockjaw to get the victory by submission. I thought that this was a really strong matchup, one of the better matches of the night. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. Let's go to StatKing.
You got one right.
StatKing, what was your thoughts?
I like this match. I gave this one 3 1/4 stars as well. I think it could have been a little bit higher. It just, something about it felt a little off, and I guess that's because I'm not that big of a Chris Statlander a fan in general. But
Boo this man.
Goddamn hater.
I'm just used to seeing her lose in Chicago, so I guess that's what happens. But also, it kind of was a match where, we knew that Kojima wasn't beating Moxley, but it was the attraction of the match that drew you to it. In that same vein, we knew that Statlander was not beating Britt Baker, but it didn't have that same level of attraction to it.
Oh, I was attracted.
Okay, all right, yes. All right, fine. That's something else entirely different
in this match.
But I don't know. To me, it was a match where the outcome was never in doubt. So that was kind of what pulled me out of it. The in-ring work was fine. There were a couple near botches from Statlander, a couple times where she almost dropped a Brit, and that would not have ended well. But great presence from D.M.D. as always. She does know how to command a ring and command an audience. So she's continuing to show that her character is far and above, beyond almost anybody else in the women's division, outside of maybe Thunder Rosa being close to on par with her. But this was a good match in that sense, and I think I would have liked it if it had happened after the Casino Battle Royal, just so it would have maybe, I don't know, but that also kind of, maybe it just kind of telegraphed that maybe we're going to get a face win for the Battle Royal. But I liked overall that just that moment where she hits the Panama Sunrise, just because we did know we were getting Bryan, but it was, oh shit, yeah, there is Adam Cole who is possibly out there. So I like that aspect of it. And then from what I saw on the takeover review, I believe he had put Kyle in the lockjaw. So in that match against Kyle O'Reilly, so that was a nice back and forth between the two of them.
This is not about him, sir. This is about the GOAT.
Go ahead. This is your moment. Go ahead.
This was 3.75, maybe 4. I might be going low. Go Baker does. Did you see the crowd turn on halfway through the match because she's a heel, and that's what she does. Statlander was fantastic. The moves on the outside was fantastic. She almost botched. There's no such thing as an almost botch. It's a botch or it's not a botch.
Exactly.
No botch.
I agree.
Go Baker does. I love that Statlander went out like an animal. It took 3 moves to take her out. And and she go back home clean. This was almost perfect. Outside the Adam Cole nonsense, it was fantastic.
Cash?
Yeah, so I might be giving double bumps to this because Dr. Goat and the Alien are both 2 pillars I would have for this division as a whole. But yeah, I gave this, what I give Miro Kingston, 3 quarters, 4. So this has got to be 4 and a quarter. Yeah, I love this match. Again, pillar to post. I have no complaints. Dr. Goat is flawless. Statlander's amazing. I agree with Jimmy. The fact that he didn't take 1, not 2, but 3 different finishes to put her away, she's out of this world. Shut up.
See what you did there. Touch his nose.
Oh, that was a great spot. That was a great spot. Her turning the D.M.D. into the boot. That was great. Jensen, what about you?
I really like this match as well. I thought this was really good. Britt Baker is not only she is the most over female in AEW, but she's one of the most over people just in general. Like,
talk to him, sir.
Like she's and the really exciting thing about Britt Baker is she's still a couple years away from her prime in wrestling. Like she's still getting better. Like she's going to be massive for them long term. Massive. Statlander, I'd say a lot of the same stuff about it. I think Statlander's awesome. I'd recommend watching her matches from Beyond Wrestling pre-AEW. Like she had a really good run there. And she does really good intergender wrestling, which is very hit or miss, and I think she does a really good job at it. So like Statlander and Britt, I'm a very big fan of both. And I like the dynamic of Orange Cassidy with Statlander because on AEW TV, you never really get much from Orange Cassidy as far as like a interview or something. He gives a lot of one-word answers and like the half thumbs up. The only time you can get him talking, if you ever interview him or anything, ask him about Fast and Furious. He'll actually talk about that. I'm not even kidding. He'll actually talk about the Fast and Furious movies, but like everything else is like one-word answers. But I think it's interesting because he has full-on conversations with Statlander. So like there's way more going on between Orange Cassidy and Statlander than what Orange Cassidy is giving everybody else, which I think could make for some interesting stories going.
It's hot, isn't it? It's hot.
It's hot. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm a fan of both, and I like y'all are saying. This was a really, really damn good match. This may have been Britt's best match in AEW outside of the Thunder Rosa match. Like this is up there for me, and that's a compliment. It's going to be tough for them to top the Thunder Rosa match. Right? Like that match was one of the best matches I've seen in a long time. That was awesome. So yeah, all good stuff here as far as I was concerned. Enjoyed the match. Britt Baker had to retain, and she did. And they're going to keep pushing her, and she deserves the push. And with Adam Cole being there too, like who knows if that becomes a thing on screen at some point too. I'm sure. So there's a lot. Britt Baker's future is super bright.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. This was Britt Baker's best sanctioned match in AEW.
Sure.
Romeo, what was your thoughts?
I like the chemistry between these two women. Britt Baker with the 3 moves of doom. Boy, oh boy. It's going to be hard to beat her. She starts whipping those moves out. If she adds 2 more, she'll reach John Cena proportions. I love Statlander. She's just in the wrong place at the wrong time against the wrong woman. Anybody else but Britt, this crowd, and everyone else would love her so much more. I gave this 3.25 stars.
What about you, Ness?
I gave this match 3.5 stars. Really can't say anything different from what you guys have been saying. Great match. I think Statlander is underrated for like how powerful she is. Definitely a couple power move spots in this match, and then Britt is just fucking over. It sucks because like obviously she's being presented as a heel. She's not gonna get that heel reaction because she's so fucking good on the mic, in the ring is great overall. I have to agree with what Romeo just said. Statlander, if she was against anyone else, we could make an argument for her. It should have been going over. But yeah, Britt Statlander's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, it's Britt's time, and everybody just has to, you know, follow the doctor. And I like the D.M.D spot too, and then she like grabs her hand and was going for the boot. So that was
It's
very
adorable.
entertaining. Yeah.
So cute.
It was cute. It was a nice little moment for the fans. Top guy JJ.
Oh man, I thought I would have been in a minority in this match. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. This match was pretty damn awesome. And I'm just saying, according to our fantasy draft, our number one pick is looking a whole lot better than another number one pick. I'm just saying right now. Go Baker D.M.D. did her motherfucking thing last night with Chris. That was a fucking awesome match. Like, I mean, she's pulling out all of these. She's pulling out like fucking 20 signatures out this bitch. This was fun. I really enjoyed this match. Definitely one of my favorite Britt Baker matches, period. I would give this match 3 3/4 stars. This match was fucking fun. Like, this match really made Statlander look like a badass, which was the purpose of this match, which is cool. But obviously not the night to take the title away from Britt Baker. But this was fucking fun to watch. This was dope. I mean, I can kind of go without the Orange Cassidy emotion. Like, I don't give a fuck about all that. But I just love these two women tearing that shit down. They fucking did they thing in this match.
You don't want to see Orange Cassidy find
I don't
love?
care about that. This match was about Statlander and Goat Baker.
You have no heart. You don't care about love.
No, I cared about the two women in that match, and I cared about a lot of that camera work that was going on in that match too. I'm just saying, that cameraman was doing his thing in that match.
You perv.
That cameraman was alright. You know what I mean? 4 stars for the cameraman. You know what I mean?
Backstage, Andrade El Helio is with Chavo Guerrero, and they explain why Pac was not there. Apparently, they're responsible for the travel issues for Pac. Andrade said it wasn't his fault, but Chavo says Pac wasn't there because he was scared. So this builds up Andrade versus Pac for AEW Rampage this Friday. We then get the Mexican rapper Mulas D. Gallo performed the Lucha Bros entrance music. Don Callis joins the commentary team after coming out with the Young Bucks, and we have our World Tag Team title steel cage match. And my lord, my god, this was as insane and a tremendous bit of work rate, double team work that we expected. We have back and forth offense from both teams. The Lucha Bros are utilizing the cage a lot on Matt and Nick. Matt and Nick turn things around and they get a bit of offense. This match goes to a different level of physicality though when Brandon Cutler throws in a thumbtack sneaker, bringing back one of the vintage signature of the Young Bucks from their hardcore matches in PWG. They start using it on Pentagon after Pentagon dives in front of his brother Phoenix and it busts open Pentagon. They stick his head into it and hit a running big boot into the thumbtack sneaker. They hit the BTE trigger for an awesome near fall, which Ray Phoenix breaks up. That totally got the crowd in Chicago even more into this match if they weren't already. Ray Phoenix then goes off, proves himself to be the greatest high flyer in the game today. He uses the thumbtack sneaker on both Matt and Nick. They hit the double stomp into the package power driver for another great near fall. Ray Phoenix goes to the top of the cage. Nick Jackson tries tries to meet him up top there, but Rey Fenix does a cage walk and kicks him upside the head. He then does an insane dive off of the steel cage onto all three men, and then they hit their double team power driver on Nick Jackson for the 3. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of heat for this, but 5 goddamn stars. This was one of the best tag team matches I have seen this decade, and I don't care what anybody on this panel watching live thinks about the Young Bucks, but I'm not talking about their ROH career. I'm not talking about their PWG career. In AEW alone, they have the match with Omega and Page at Revolution. They got the match with the Lucha Bros at All Out 2019, the match with Pac and Phoenix this year, the match with FTR at Full Gear, and then this match. This is one of the all-time great tag team runs that I've ever seen in my lifetime. I'm going to go to a difference of opinion, I'm sure. Let's start with Marcus Cash.
You passing the rock to him?
I thought I'd be first.
For those of you who watch anything True Heel Network does that I'm actually on, me and Sid rarely agree on just about anything. With that said, Cinco Estrellas for this match.
Whoa, I'm swerving.
Whoa.
What a swerve.
Whoa.
Look at Jimmy's face.
And I'm going to give this to you in Spanish because of Lucha Brothers. The entrance, I don't get it. That's not my bag. Headdresses, rappers, I don't know. But whatever. Special moments about to happen. Give them special entrance. That's cool. But this match was fantastic for a cage match. I loved it. Regardless of the fact that Matt Jackson was even in it, I still love this match. It's still great. Matt Jackson, be damned. Yeah, the only thing I would not take away, but concerns me is Rey Fenix's death wish that he has with diving off of high things and flying, like extra lifts in his shoes when he jumps. The avalanche destroyer thing, like I'm gonna miss Rey Fenix. How many more matches we have with him? I'm gonna miss him. And the harking back on the Andrade promo, I like it, but I don't like the Chavo doing things behind Andrade's back.
American Airlines is hilarious.
The American Airlines thing is hilarious. I don't have your American Airlines phone number. That's hilarious. But I don't like that we're also teasing that we're not on the same page.
I think you're reading too much.
I am reading too much, but regardless, I enjoyed these two things very much so.
Jimmy, what was your thoughts on the cage match?
I thought it was a very good match. Any match Nick Jackson's in, heel Nick Jackson that is, I'm a fan of.
Are you going to talk about his facial hair?
Oh, the new facial hair, by the way. I'm here for it. Big Papa Nick Jackson, I'm here for. 4 3/4 I gave it. To me, this is the Young Bucks' best tag team match, mainly because no tagging was needed. Therefore, we didn't have referees look like fucking idiots as they stand around doing fucking moves in a handicap format. Rick Knox's best match. Absolutely.
Star.
No, as much as I love Nick Jackson, Rey Fenix is clearly the star of this fucking match. I thought this match was over when they brought out the shoe, and we were getting like a murder moment in the cage. And then it went like 10 or 15 more minutes. I have no complaint. That's their best tag team match to me. That's their best match to me. I love that match. Even with Matt Jackson's ridiculous overacting, I'm here for it.
I'm thoroughly surprised that there was no difference of opinion there. I was gonna bookmark it by having you guys go after me, and then the lover of Lucha Libre, Ness, go next. So Ness, what was your thoughts on the cage match?
This is no surprise. I gave this match 5.5 stars. Wood gave it 6.
Stick to the damn scale, please.
All right, so I give it. If I'm limited, I give it 5 stars.
There you go.
This match, for me, again, I am the lover of Lucha Libre. Actually, I love both these teams. The Young Bucks are my favorite tag team of all time. I know that might be a stretch to some people, but they just deliver. For all the years I've been watching them, this was no different. I liked the entrance for the Lucha Bros. I felt as though I'm like, all right, as I'm watching, I'm like, all right, you guys are doing all this shit. They better fucking win. Because don't have them give this major entrance and then they lose. But the match was just phenomenal. The top rope Canadian Destroyer from Penta. Everything Ray Phoenix does is just crazy. The spots in this match, the super kick spots, the cutter spots, it's just everything from start to finish. The match was great. Definitely when they threw in the thumbtack Travis Scott, it brought back it was a callback to the Young Bucks PWG 11 match against the World's Cutest Tag Team, because they pretty much just went out exactly how it happened then. So yeah, everything about this match, I love the fact that the Bucks are just elevating everybody who they're in the ring with. You know, they did it for Private Party, they did it for the Jurassic Express. They literally do it for everyone. Even when they win, when they lose, people get even more over. And I'm just happy that the Lucha Bros got their moment. You know, like these are two tag teams that I can literally watch wrestle forever, and I will never get tired of it.
Yeah, quite the 3 matches that they've had in AEW alone. Romeo, what was your thoughts on the cage match?
Yeah, what a run for the Young Bucks. I mean, Omega Page, FTR, and now they could add this to that list. I like this match. My only gripe is the first 7 to 10 minutes, 120 miles an hour, minimal selling, 1,000 moves. Eventually it slowed down and picked up. The blood was great. It added so much. Phoenix went full Phoenix. Penta with the blood kisses to his family, just adorable, beautiful. A great moment for the Lucha Bros, who deserve their moment. This was big time for them in their careers. I still think Walter versus Ilya was better. Still my match of the year. I gave this 4 3/4 stars though.
I think it was better than Walter and Ilya even. That's how much I love this match.
That's fine.
Jensen, what was your thoughts?
No, that's a good shout though. Ilya and Walter too that's way up there too. That's a tough call between these two matches. Those are the 2 best matches I've seen this year as well.
Yeah.
I'll say this too. Like I was in Atlanta for Cody versus Wardlow, the first cage match, and those cages are higher than they look. I mean, they are using a tall steel cage in AEW. And I think that it's really smart how they've been really limited about not like overdoing stuff off the top. Like Cody did the moonsault and it finished the match. Ray Phoenix did this splash off the top, diving crossbody. It pretty much finished the match. Like they saved these high spots. There was a lot of high spots throughout the match, but they saved like the big jump off the cage for like 1 per match, which I think is really smart. So they don't overdo it.
I loved Penta not selling that, by the way.
Right, yeah.
I'm getting up for this finish.
Yeah, exactly. That's very true. But I thought this match was damn near perfect. I agree with you guys. Like, there's nothing about this that I would have changed. It's great to see the Lucha Brothers get this win because, I mean, they're killing it. They're killing it all over the place. Like, they're looking great in AAA still as well. Like, everywhere they're going. And what makes them so valuable on top of their tag team is they're both great singles wrestlers. So there's like a ton you can do with both these guys. And they appeal to so many different fan bases. I mean, you got the Lucha fans, you got the indie fans, you got just any fan. If you like pro wrestling, but you don't get any enjoyment out of the Lucha Brothers at all, like I'd just be surprising to me. The only critique I ever have for them is I think they do too many of the Cerro Muerto things, you know, just they do it too much. I hate when Pentagon's got someone in a package pile driver. The match is won. All he's got to do is just lift them up, pile driver, and he'll like stop and like take his glove off and start doing the whole thing, and then it gets reversed. And I'm like, dude, just do the move.
They're building up their specials meter. You have to taunt to build up your specials.
You gotta toggle
meter right there.
You got to toggle the joystick, and then they do the taunt. Yeah. But seriously though, like these are 2 of the best tag teams in the world right now, and this was just an awesome match. And the Young Bucks don't lose any. I mean, they lose the titles, but they don't. They're made men in AEW forever, regardless. Like they're always going to be top level guys. So them losing doesn't hurt them at all, and it really helps the Lucha Bros because it's also a spot where like if they kept losing to the Young Bucks, you know, people would be like, damn, like how many times are they going to lose to this team? They finally got the big win against them. I thought this was like I haven't been giving star ratings, but like this was a 5 out of 5. I mean, this was pretty much a perfect match.
Yes, I like the fact you saved your star ratings for this match because this is worthy of
yeah, it's too objective, man. The star ratings were too tough because like I hadn't thought about star ratings before we went live, and I don't want to be throwing up like unreasonable ratings. But this was, I can't think of anything that would have made this match better. You know what I mean? Like, it was perfect.
Love the spot where they had like dual package pile drivers, Matt and Penta.
Yeah,
and
the older
brothers.
They thought about it. It was like, fuck it, my brother will be all right. Let me just do this move.
Yeah, and Matt even did like the thing with it.
Yeah,
like they both did that, and I was like, okay, I'll take it there. Like they've done it like 20 times this match, but this was a good one there.
And then that led to that led to the top rope Canadian Destroyer, which nobody has mentioned yet, and that's one of the best spots of the.
That was mentioned.
Yeah. That's one of the best spots of the match. But top guy JJ.
What else is there to talk about in this match that you guys haven't all covered already? This was to me, this was a perfect match. Like, and more so because of just talking about this on True Hill Heat. This was the 2 years culmination of the Lucha Bros. Like, the Lucha Bros has been in AEW since day one, and they have yet to hold these tag titles. And if this was not the time to pull the trigger on this team doing this with this kind of match, I didn't think it was ever going to happen. And the fact that this happened in this match with this caliber action, with this back and forth, with these top rope spots, all of this monkey shit that these two were jumping on the cage, and they had the side fight. Like, they literally had like the WrestleMania, like the steel cage fight on the side of the fucking cages, and they were literally throwing up the X button at each other, jabbing each other and shit. Like, this shit was just so fun. But the only nitpick was literally, I think you guys already called it out, was Penta completely no-selling the top rope, the cage dive, yo. He got up immediately. Like, immediately he got up. But, I mean, other than that, this match was chef's kiss, man. This match was like, I marked out in so many areas when he pulled out the fucking, the thumbtack Nike. Like, I was like, God damn, they went back. They pulled out the stops for this match. And the fact that the Bucks are so good at being dicks, this is just perfect. This is perfect harmony, because the Bucks, we were talking about this earlier, the Bucks do not need these titles to be as good as they are. The Lucha Bros, I feel, needed this to solidify themselves in this super stacked tag division. And this was a kudos decision by them to actually pull the trigger and give the Lucha Bros their moment in the sun, because they fucking deserve this, man. They've been with this company since day fucking one. And they have finally been rewarded with the handsomest prize in the tag game. This was awesome. I love their entrance, but that shit that they was wearing on their heads, I was not fucking with that at all. I don't know what that shit was on their heads.
It's like the day of the day.
I have no idea what those were. I was like, this must be cultural, because I was like, I ain't fucking with this. This is like,
thanks.
Like, Labor Day is happening right up the block from
Mexican viewers.
Yeah, and then fucking when Don Callis is on commentary, like, we don't care about their customs.
Like, Labor Day is happening right up the block from me, and I was like, oh shit, I'm getting Labor Day on my TV screen right now. But other than that, like the beginning sequence was fire, but this match was fucking incredible, man. Probably match of the year, but Ilya and Volta is gonna have something to say about that. But this was incredible.
StatKing, any final thoughts being there live?
Tell us how big that cage is in person.
It's about 20 feet tall. As Slam and Sammy Joe was asking, this match was 5 stars. If I could go higher, I would.
Thanks.
You don't have to.
I know I don't. But this cage match was absolutely incredible, and it got to the point that nobody in the arena was sitting down. Just everybody was just waiting for what was going to happen next. And I think we all kind of knew, and I know I was joking about this in the preview panel, that this match would not end until something happened off the top of the cage. I jokingly said that it would be a Spanish Fly with Nick and Rey Fenix, because they're the two most willing to die. But this had a great ending. The Bucks just, my God, throwing Phoenix and Pentagon into the cage over and over and over again, just the lawn darts. And they have great moments where Pentagon doing what the older brother should, stepping in front of the kick to protect his younger brother. And we've seen that with Matt and Nick in their own matches. So it's not a new spot in any way, shape, or form, because they're tag teams of brothers. But to see what each brother is willing to do to protect the other, and then also with the stereo package pile drivers, also saying, "Oh yeah, he'll survive." But that's, I guess, something that is really great when the tag teams are related to each other, because they have that, even in the match, you are reminded that they have that history with each other. They know what the other person can't do. I will say that I've been I don't know where to rank this in AEW tag team matches. I just know that I've been super fortunate to have been there live for what I consider are the top 3 AEW tag team matches: Escalera de la Muerte, the Revolution tag match, and now this. And I will say that one thing that's really cool is people get a lot on AEW for allegedly losing that sports feel that Cody supposedly said they were going to be a pure sports organization, which they didn't. However, this creates a kind of story for down the road, because now, back-to-back times when the Bucks have faced the Lucha Bros at All Out, they have lost. And that creates, and it's been in the same building as well. So it creates an air of legitimate kind of streak sports feel to it, where what do the Bucks have to do to get the job done? And now, whether it's next year, 2 years from now, maybe they do it every other year. So maybe we're talking 2023. But if it is, I mean, I don't think All Out by then should be in the Sears Center. But if it is, they can have a story where, even if the roles are reversed, where now the other teams are face versus heel, they can do a story where the Bucks are finally trying to get the win over the Lucha Bros at All Out.
That is a great point, and so many times throughout history in like WWE, they go through 3 matches and 3 months of pay-per-views. This is 3 matches between these 2 teams in 2 years, and now the Lucha Bros have the 2-1 advantage. So great stuff overall. The unenviable task of following this match was on the ladies of AEW with the Women's Casino Battle Royale. A lot of this was very cluttered and clunky. But the I would say the last like 5 to 6 minutes of this was really good stuff, as it came down to Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose, and Ruby Soho, who made her AEW debut as the Joker card. A lot of us were speculating if it was going to be her. She came out to the theme song by Razzed. Ruby Soho, Destination is now known. It is AEW. And Thunder Rosa eliminated Nyla Rose. So it came down to the 2 favorites who would be the favorites for this match in Thunder Rosa and Ruby Soho. They had a really good exchange. It was a really good final 2 between these, because anybody could win, but it was the hometown girl, the hometown gal from Chicago, Ruby Soho, getting the victory and eliminating Thunder Rosa to get a shot at the AEW Women's World Championship. I gave this 2.5 stars, but if I was just ranking it on the final 2, this would be much, much higher. What was your thoughts on this one being there live, StatKing?
I was going to say, Ruby Riot's not from Chicago.
Well, she's considered a hometown favorite. That's what they were saying on
Okay.
commentary.
Gotcha. Yeah, because if I remember right, she's from Michigan. That's part of why I really thought that she was going to show up during the Arthur Ashe stuff, because all the vignettes were in New York. So I was like, there's no hometown connection for her with New York, and But anyway,
You got to set off some triggers with those comments.
yeah, I'm gonna get the Chicago deserves everything in New York sucks. But that's
exactly.
That's
we
fine.
didn't get enough of that.
No, you guys could have this one.
That's fine. Romeo continuing to flood the streets of New York with his tears. Yeah, that's fine. But as for the Battle Royale, I liked parts of it. I liked that there were stories that were built up over Dynamite and Dark and Elevation to be included in the Battle Royale. We saw Allie go really far, actually, and then when Penelope came in, they're ganging up on Anna. This time around, Ty is the one who makes the save for Anna. There's the story as well of Jade and Nyla within the Battle Royale. They were teaming up to try to take people out of the Battle Royale, and then now they turn on each other in the actual match itself. So I liked that, just that they had little stories in between it. I don't personally. I still say it should have been Ty Conti who picked up the win, but I'm not mad at Ruby Soho picking up the win. So overall, I gave it about 2.5, 2 3/4 stars.
Ness, what was your thoughts on this one?
I gave it a solid 3 solely on the fact that Ruby Soho was the Joker card. As someone that was a big fan of her in WWE and wanted way more than what the fuck she got over there, it's nice to see that, you know, the reception she got, it looked like she was taking it all in. Very
See what you
happy
did
for
there.
her. Yeah, I know. I thought about it after I said the shit, and I'm trying to figure out a way to clean it up. But yeah,
That's what
it was yeah.
Look at that
It was
face.
a
So hateable.
yeah. I'm sure this guy is just. But yeah, it was solid. I didn't expect anything crazy out of this anyway because it's, you know, the battle royals, things of that nature. They're never like anything major. You know, they're always going to be clunky. There's always going to be a clusterfuck of things going on. But to piggyback off of what StatKing said, it was a nice way to continue stories like the Nyla Rose and in the Jade Cargill story. Diamante and Big Swole, they've been having back and forths on the Dark Elevation, so that was good. Again, with Anna Jay returning, her and Ty Conti going up against Penelope Ford and Allie. So like that was all good, but I'm ready to see a one-on-one between Ruby Soho and Thunder Rosa for sure, because that's all I was thinking about as when they were the like part of the last 3 with Nyla, and then it came down to just these 2. I believe it was either Tony Schiavone or Jim Ross that said it on commentary that like, yeah, that's the match that I want to see. And now Ruby going on to win, I think she's going to have a banger with Britt. I don't really care who wins that match. I don't see Britt losing. And I don't even think that even in a loss, it'll hurt Ruby if she doesn't win going forward. But yeah, I'm just glad to see her get the recognition that she deserves, that I feel that she deserves. It was great.
What was your thoughts on this one, Jensen, and the debut of Ruby Soho?
I'm really happy for Ruby. I mean, I think this is going to be a really big sink or swim type situation for her because there's a lot of fans that were really behind her in the WWE, but like y'all were saying, like they never really gave her fans what they wanted when she was with that company. So AEW's listened and they're going to go, okay, y'all have made a lot of noise about her. We like her. We're going to give her a real chance. And she's going to get inserted right into the main event level of the women's division with Britt Baker, like right off the bat. Do I think she's going to beat Britt Baker? No, I think it's pretty obvious Britt will retain. But what's most important here is if Ruby just looks really good in the match, she's made. Like that's all that really matters for Ruby right now. Like just come in, have a really good match with the top women in the division, establish yourself, and the fans already want to cheer for her. So they're giving her a really good position right off the bat. So I'm really happy for her. I think the match will wind up being good. And I think kind of the biggest takeaway I got from this match is I think AEW's women's division is in a pretty good spot right now, and it's continuing to get better. They're going to continue to add more names. You know, a lot of people since AEW started, one of the big kind of things people would always say negatively about AEW was that their women's roster either wasn't good enough or wasn't getting enough time on TV. But you also have to keep in mind, like they didn't start off with like a roster of like Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, Bayley, Asuka, Io, like all these people that are like WWE, for example, they have such a stacked roster. AEW, they had to take basically what was left that wasn't signed when the company started and develop their own women from the indies for the most part. So like now a lot of them are continuing to get better. The division is growing. Britt Baker is the perfect person to be on top of the division as everything grows. And then you keep sprinkling in people that, women that people know from other companies when they become available. I think it's all kind of coming together for the women's division. I think there's a lot of promise in a lot of the people we saw in this Battle Royal.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I can tell the bonus and work. Yeah, I want to piggyback off that too. I'm gonna be that guy. If you're still one of those people that harp on their women's division being where it's at when they first started, now that's clearly nowhere near where it is right now. They definitely have all this talent. They're booking them more now. And then even with Rampage, they're like making the women's division priority on Rampage. Like there's always going to be a women's division match, and they're making it a focal point of the show as well. So yeah, don't be that hater ass guy. It's like, oh yeah, the women's division. Like no, it's nowhere near where it was when they first started.
We're a long way from the Nightmare Collective. That's for sure.
Thank God.
Yes, very much. Yeah.
Romeo, what was your thoughts on the Casino Battle Royale and Ruby Soho's debut?
This is the part of the watch along where I started to get really smashed because I took a sip of my drink every time Jade Cargill adjusted her wardrobe. Man. Jade getting eliminated by Nyla. That's interesting. See what they do there. Rosa and Ruby, the final two was a smart move. No problem with Ruby winning here. Gave this 2 stars. The funniest part of all of this, if you didn't see it, Julia Hart backstage, it's on their social media. She got attacked by Nyla Rose and Jade Cargill, and it was just so funny. Nyla Rose was so good talking shit. She's like, the foot bone's connected to the steel chair. The steel chair's connected to Jade's foot, and Jade just smashes the steel chair over Julia Hart. Julia Hart crying like a baby. It was so funny. Check it out.
Nyla Rose does a great job with her mannerisms and her facial expressions for sure. Top guy JJ.
Oh man, I love the fact that we have been spending the last few episodes, whether it's roundtables, True Hill Heats, really talking about the evolution of this women's division. The fact that they have done so much work over the past year, especially the past year, in elevating this women's division to where it's growing to. I just love where they're going with this. Obviously, you know me at all. I'm not a fan of battle royals at all. I think they're just big clusterfucks. All your favorites get eliminated in like 6 seconds. You know, they get a pop for absolutely no fucking reason. They come in and then they get dumped by God knows whoever the fuck that was for whatever reason. And you always wait for that last 3 minutes to get the meat of the battle royal. And that's exactly what you got. You got that with Thunder Rosa and Ruby Soho. I'm not gonna call her Ruby Riot like JR did multiple times, but it was a good finish. Good finish. Like I think you guys said, if Ruby doesn't win but just has a good outing, she's not obligated to become a champion at this point. She's just obligated to have good showings and really show that she can put this division over. And that's all that she would need to do. And they're in a good place right now. And obviously, listen, Ruby ain't losing. Ruby is not going to be the one to dethrone Goat Baker. That ain't happening. So pump the brakes. We'll just be happy to have Ruby Soho here and just enjoy it because this women's division is growing, and I love every minute of it. But, Battle Royals are not my thing.
What about you guys?
For the Battle Royal.
Jimmy.
Guys, quick question for anyone who knows the answer. What is the relationship between these two?
What?
Because he was hugging on her like very unprofessionally.
I think it's they knew each other from the independent scene because that's what Bryce is known for, just having that connection with a bunch of the indie stars.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Bryce is from like Chikara or something, right?
Yeah, he was all over PWG, everything. Y'all should check out. He did a match a couple years ago. I think it was at Spring Break. Invisible Man versus Invisible Stan, where he's the only one in the ring. And he's refereeing 2 invisible people, but it's really good. Like he really shows how talented. They make him look like such a moron on AEW for like how long he gets distracted. But like when it was just him with no one else, it was actually pretty damn entertaining. I'd recommend it for people.
Can we do a live watch along with Jimmy and Marcus watching that?
Watching Invisible Man versus absolutely. I see nothing going wrong with that.
My favorite Blood Brother match actually is Orange Cassidy versus that mask guy who rocks you to sleep. He cradles you to sleep. I don't know his name.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Bridge guy or something. That's my favorite Bryce match.
Favorite Bryce Rumford match. What?
StatKing. I think Ruby Riot is from Indiana, Iowa, one of those I-states.
She's billed from Indiana, but she is from Michigan.
Oh, okay. So she's just billed from Indiana. All right. Battle Royals. They are what they are. Everybody knew Ruby was going to be the Joker. Was it my favorite Ruby Riot Soho showing? No. When I used to watch WWE, I saw much better stuff from her on SmackDown, I think it was. But it was cool. I liked her and Thunder Rosa being the last two because you still had that hope that Thunder Rosa might actually win this and go and get her title shot against Britt Baker. So I did enjoy that. The only thing I probably would have changed is I probably would have saved some of the eliminations, keep a few more women in the Battle Royal, and then just do like dueling big cane spots where Nyla Rose and Jade Cargill are just like tit for tatting each other on eliminations, so to speak. Well, I didn't mean to do that, but yeah, it's the only thing I would have changed. But everything else was fine and serviceable.
Really?
Jimmy?
The camera work wasn't serviceable.
Kevin,
whatever that Kevin done is stinks. The booking was terrible, but it's Tony Khan. I know what you want from me. That's how it works. I enjoyed the Ruby Soho, and she did absolutely nothing. That's how that works. We had to wait for the final 3 minutes before she did anything usable of any kind.
Oh, did you guys freeze?
Yeah, I think they froze.
We're good. I think they froze.
Oh, okay. I'll give them a minute. A couple of comments that we got here. A bunch of people telling us to don't watch Raw after watching this show. That seems very nice of them for that assistant.
Yo, literally eliminate any expectation if you watch wrestling tonight. Like,
it would be tough.
Have some drinks, and just have the TV on.
It would be tough to follow this. I'm going to really quickly go through the next match because I thought it was cool superstar entrances, as it was Chris Jericho versus MJF. MJF came out with the Y2J countdown, which was a great troll job because the fans thought it was Jericho, but it wound up being MJF. Jericho came out with the Fozzy guitarist playing Judas, which didn't turn out well when the crowd didn't know the lyrics to Judas to sing over him, and the guitar sounded a little bit off. They had a fun matchup. We had a dusty finish with Jericho's foot on the ropes after a Judas effect and a baseball bat shot by MJF. We thought that MJF won. It was even announced, but then the second referee corrected the decision, got back in the ring. Jericho locked on the walls of Jericho for the tap out win, and Jericho keeps his career alive. Since you hit the thumbs up, Romeo, what was your thoughts?
I was just really happy that MJF won, man. And then a second ref, like, come on, man. Jesus. Was that Bryce too? Or was that a different ref?
No,
It was different.
I was about to say, relax. That guy's having way too much going on tonight, but MJF is protected. Well booked, I guess, if protecting him. But yeah, everyone's tired of this match. We've seen it so much. I gave it 3.5 stars, but it's probably a little high. You know what? 3.25 stars.
There you go. Bring it down.
Yeah, bring it down. Bring it down a bit. Way too high. I'm just glad MJF has plenty to complain about going forward, and that should help him out at least, even though he should have won.
Jensen, what was your thoughts on Jericho versus MJF?
Well, first of all, for the Jericho entrance, I like in theory what they were trying to do. Like, I like the idea of some guy just like shredding guitar while you walk to the ring. Like, that's pretty cool. The problem with what they were trying to do, though, is when Jericho did the no music entrance the other week, the fans all knew it was going to happen. So they all had their phones out. Excuse me. They all had their phones out. They're all like, ready to do it and know when to start, and like they're all on the same page. I'm sure you all know from going to sporting events, especially larger ones where like the sound echoes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Sometimes you think that you and the other side of the stadium are on the same page because you're getting a delay. So I think a lot of people were trying to sing along to the song and thought it was now I know someone in here was at the show.
Yeah, I was.
I want to know how that sounded in person, because there's no way. I feel like being there live, there would have been no way to know how off it all was. And then you could tell when the guy gets to like the chorus, they were trying, like that was where it was all supposed to come together. And it did a little bit, but once again, everyone's just a little bit off from everyone else because no one knew exactly where to start. So like, it just didn't come across well, unfortunately. But John, how did that go?
Yeah,
live?
so the singing was like you exactly as you said. We thought on my side, and I was on hard cam side. We thought we were going perfectly along with everybody, and then when the chorus hit, the become. That part, when we start hearing them do that before we're supposed to be doing it. We're like, wait a minute, why are they, like a couple quarter notes ahead of us? Like, what's going on here? And then we kind of adjusted, but then I think the same thing was happening on their side. They were trying to adjust what they were hearing, and that's why it got a little bit.
You should have hit the notes higher than John. You should have hit the higher notes, StatKing.
No, my voice is pretty gone from singing that alone. But that's why. And yeah, we didn't know that was what was going to happen. That's why after the match ends, when Jericho wins, we're able to sing perfectly along because we have the backing track. So.
Yes.
It's like lip singers. Britney goes through the same thing probably on occasion.
But and just really quick about the match. I know that we've seen it a lot. This is going to go against everything I normally would say about wrestling because I don't like dusty finishes. I don't like the inconsistency where we see a lot of matches end with someone cheating, but another referee doesn't come out and correct it. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. True. But in this particular case, the reason I was okay with it was because it accomplished a couple things. One was it established MJF basically won again. When the record books are going to show MJF 3, Jericho 1, but they pretty much 50-50 booked this. Now, once again, I don't like 50-50 booking, but in this particular scenario, it kept MJF strong. His only other loss in AEW is to Moxley for the title. So all out. Right. Yeah, good call. So they've MJF's still strong. He's still in a good spot. Jericho keeps his career. I didn't think Jericho was going to retire because there's too much for him to still accomplish now with the Forbidden Door and all the options there. He can still keep having dream matches. Hell, if he wants to, he got to taste the deathmatch wrestling. He could show up in GCW. Chris Jericho is crazy enough to do that kind of stuff still, to just keep himself relevant consistently. So I thought this match was pretty good. We've seen it enough times. I'd like for both of them to just move on to new things now. But I did think the match itself was actually better than I was expecting it to be going into it. So.
Yeah, I can agree with that for sure. I didn't even give my star rating, but I gave it 3.25 myself. Jimmy and Cash, what was your thoughts on this one?
I got to lower my rating more now.
Be careful before Tony Khan touches you again.
Absolutely.
Jimmy, go ahead.
Oh, let me go. I didn't like this match at all. I'm sorry. I love Chris Jericho. I beyond love MJF. I am over this match to begin with. And then I felt no urgency. Chris Jericho's career is on the line. He spent the first 5 minutes of the match doing shit that could have got disqualified, number one. And then number two, he's fucking with fans and getting shit. This is it was very Cody-ish to me. We didn't pay attention to the storyline building up to the fucking match. I like the false finish. Everything after that I thought worked. Ironically, there's only a minute left. 2.5, I guess. I give MJ a bump, 2.5, 2.75.
Cash?
Yeah, one of my favorite criticisms of AEW is they don't understand blood feuds. This is supposed to be so intense, and we're not murdering each other from the start. But the entrances were cool, especially the countdown thing that MJF did.
That was fantastic.
My favorite part of all of this, I'm gonna give it why 2 stars, Jay.
That was perfect.
For the match, I was over it 3 matches ago. I was over it. And what was the big War Games match that they had?
Blood and Guts.
Blood and Guts. I was over it then. Then we did the football thing. And then we did another match after we fought Juventud. And now we're doing another. It's over. We're beating a dead horse and it's dead. And we continue to poke at it. Just go, literally go away for a little while.
What did M. Sidgwick think? Did he think this was brilliant? Oh, that's the full long-term storytelling?
That was one of his 11 ups.
We gave this show 11 positives and 0 negatives.
Don't worry, I'll get Cedric for the next roundtable for AEW pay-per-view, just to piss you guys off. Very quickly, Top Guy JJ, Ness, if you just give your star rating, because I do want to get everybody's thoughts on the next match because we're running over a little time here. So, Top Guy JJ, what was your star rating?
Oh yeah, I gave it 2.5 stars. This would have been better if it didn't happen 3-4 matches ago.
There you go.
Yeah,
Walk one.
true.
True.
That's it.
That is a good point. Ness?
2 3/4 stars. I mean, it wasn't a bad match. I was just over it. I've been over the feud. I've been over it.
So next up, it was the match most of us were looking forward to, the return of CM Punk to in-ring competition for the first time in 7 years. Punk had a great response from the crowd. It was a little strange seeing CM Punk in tights. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I thought he would go back to maybe the shorts from Ring of Honor, but seeing him in tights was very interesting. We got a kind of like a stare down across the ring from each other with CM Punk doing his cross leg Indian sit down while Darby was in the corner. And the match started off a little bit slow. It was more of an old school match where it escalated as time went on. Darby Allin used his technical wrestling ability to get the advantage. CM Punk showed a lot of ring rust, but eventually he used his size and his experience started to come back to him. He had to go to sleep with Darby going out of the ring, and that gave us a great false finish with the count out. Then Darby went insane with a dive to the outside, a senton on top of Punk. He had a code red for a great near fall. He went for the coffin drop, but Punk just sat up and laughed. That was a great spot as well. Then Darby went for a poison Rana, but Punk reverses and hits a second go to sleep for the victory. I thought they did a great job of protecting Darby, making Punk look good in his return match, and I gave this 4 stars. What about you, Ness?
Yeah, I gave this 3 3/4 stars. I think it was really good. I know I've seen some people complain online. Oh, Darby should have went over. Like, it didn't make sense for Darby to go over. It's a returning Punk. We haven't seen him wrestle in 7 fucking years. Why would anybody go over him? This is more so of Darby going out there, wanting to go against the best and earning their respect, and that's exactly what happened in this match. I'm not too sold on Punk being in tights as well. That shit definitely is weird to me. Either trunks or shorts, but I'll give it a chance. But he looked good. I'm just ready to see him be a little bit more active. Whoever he's going to face off against next. And then at one point, I thought he could potentially turn heel. Even before he was like leaving the ring, didn't know which tunnel to go out of. I was just like, all right, we all know Punk. He could snap at any moment and then possibly attack Sting or Darby after the match, but he didn't. I just like that they just kept this whole babyface thing going for him. So I just want to see where he goes from next. Like he had a great showing.
Yes, great performance by top guy JJ.
Yeah, I gave this match 4 stars. This match, because it was kind of its old in the beginning, and it's kind of what people are not interested in no more, is that classic wrestling. And there was a lot of holes. It was a very short fight, like a slow 5 minutes, which I was gonna totally understand. This is his first match in more than half a decade. But then obviously it started picking up. The spot started picking up really nice. That fucking whatever he calls that suicide plunge to CM Punk was fucking epic. He just threw his whole fucking body at him, which was epic, yo. And the point, like, anybody that ever thinks that Darby should have went over, to shut up. Honestly, because just shut up. They're not going to make the biggest acquisition in the history of their company to make him job to somebody in his very first match. He can start losing a little bit later down the line, but not his first fucking match in his hometown. Not in his hometown.
In Chicago,
people should know better. Like, it's like, come on, man. People are just looking for just hot takes to sound dumb, and clearly they sounded dumb. This was a great showing for Darby Allin. Darby Allin, if he told you 2 years ago, if he had a match against CM Punk, he would have been, I don't give a fuck what the outcome is. I could have had a 3-second match with CM Punk. Give it to me. Like, this match was really good showing for both of them. I enjoyed it. Good psychology between the two. Definitely a tease moment between Punk and Sting right there. That was definitely a teaser. But yeah, I enjoyed this match. I really enjoyed Punk's return. This was a good match for both him and Darby Allin. They both looked really good. Punk got his wins under him after the first 5 minutes or so.
Jensen, what about you?
So I think this established CM Punk again as a professional wrestler. And what I mean by that is, I like that there were the beginning of the match was slower, and he was doing abdominal stretches and headlocks and stuff like that. He was doing holds. And the reason that I like this so much is because, as you can see by my background, I'm a massive fan of mixed martial arts. I'm just going to keep it real. CM Punk was the worst UFC fighter ever. It wasn't. No, I'm serious. Like, I mean, he was in his second fight, he lost to the second worst UFC fighter ever, Michael Jackson. A guy whose actual name is Michael Jackson, who held CM Punk down and tickled him in the octagon. Like that's how.
Is that the fight that got reversed?
Yes, because Jackson smokes weed, and who cares? But yeah, so, I mean, everyone saw what happened. The point I'm making though with this is that CM Punk came back and did professional wrestling. Like, he didn't come back and start throwing spinning back fists and starting to shoot double leg takedowns and going for submission holds and stuff. Because now I know there's not a ton of crossover. Like, a lot of people aren't going to care about his UFC run, and that's fine. But like, just because I am so into both, it's hard. It would have been harder for me to see CM Punk trying to look like an MMA fighter in his return than coming back and just wrestling like he did last night. So I think it was really well done. I thought he looked really good in the ring. As far as like for a guy who hasn't wrestled for 7 years, I thought he did really damn good. And then on the other side, you have Darby Allin, who, it's like his dad Sting, walks up to they're on the entrance ramp together, and it's like basically like a father-son type moment, right? And Darby's like, I got to do this on my own, Dad. And Sting's like, all right, son, go do this yourself. So Darby goes out to the ring to wrestle CM Punk alone. And then after the match, Daddy Sting comes back. He's like, I'm proud of you, son. And he shakes, everyone shakes hands. And how crazy is it that we're living in a world in 2021 where CM Punk and Sting are shaking hands in the middle of a wrestling ring? Like, this is insane. So, like, I loved all this. I thought it was pretty much the perfect return for CM Punk. And Darby Allin, in fact, actually continues to be elevated even in the loss. And as we were talking about earlier, in those kind of like post-fight press conferences they do, everyone they interviewed, whether it was Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, whoever, they're all mentioning guys like Jungle Boy, guys like Darby Allin, guys like Sammy Guevara. They are continuing to put these guys over in these situations, even if they're losing. So, yeah, I love this return. Thought it was great all the way around.
Agreed.
Yes, agreed there. StatKing, you were there live. Any quick thoughts on this match here?
This is the match where I actually did lose my voice. It's tough for me to be objective about this. Most of you guys obviously know why.
You deserved it, man.
I mean, I this is also the match where I almost got into a fight with somebody, as you guys also know, so in the crowd. But this was a 4-star match to me, where Darby did a lot of the work, and he did a lot to carry this match, as kind of expected, or maybe thought to a degree. Yep. This is a guy's first match back in 7+ years. And it's going to take some time for him to knock off the ring rust. I remember I was saying on the preview, when he hit the GTS, he did look a little gassed, and he did look a little gassed in this match. It's something that takes time. He's going to bounce back from it, but my God, it was just incredible to see him back in the ring. And I am beyond grateful to Tony Khan for pulling this off. Give me more tears. Give me more tears, Romeo. It's fine.
No, that wasn't
that
Romeo.
wasn't me. You big bully.
Who was that? Because whoever it was, give me more tears.
Give Tony Khan some more credit.
Of course. Yeah, I am going to give Tony Khan credit, because he's built a roster that, if you guys listen to the interview, if you guys listen to the interview that Renee did with Punk, he said part of the reason what made him part of the appeal of AEW was how well they closed ranks and protected the Huber family after Brody's passing. And that goes a lot to speak to what kind of roster Tony is building, and that goes back to Tony Khan himself. So, yeah.
Get someone who looks at you the way Tony looks at CM Punk.
Absolutely.
Get somebody who looks at you the way Tony Khan looks at any of the big signings.
Yeah,
Tony Khan called last night the greatest night of his life.
I don't doubt it at all.
Any quick thoughts from Jimmy and Cash?
Absolutely. I love how Tony Khan is P. Diddy now. So it's all in the videos, all on the records, dancing. Take that. Tony, he's a good dude. Terrible booker, but he's a good guy. Punk and Darby. Punk and Darby was fine. I didn't know what to expect from Punk. The tights threw me for quite a loop, and it was hard to get into it. But the slow pace I liked. Him working as kind of the de facto heel also threw me. And Chicago, it seems, that King left him right for a loop because it was silent for a lot of it. Like, we don't know how to respond to this, but it picked up at the end. It worked for me. I gave it 3.5. I think it was fine. No way Punk should lose that match under any circumstances. I don't even care what the circumstances. It doesn't matter. Punk wins that match.
I was
gonna
say part of the reason why it might have sounded a little dead is because there were a bunch of people in different parts of the crowd that tried to go into business for themselves, screaming out about how Darby should win and Punk should lose. And there were people in the crowd like myself who were going back and forth with these people. So that's why like part of it was a little messed up in that sense.
CM Punk's in the ring. You argue with a bunch of drunk morons.
Yeah. Don't argue with these people. Cash.
Also, I think I agree. Tight threw me off. It was cool to see CM Punk back in the ring. The wrestling holds also I was confused by a little bit, but I enjoyed it. I like that Sting pissed off right at the beginning. I'll give the match 3 3/4. I can't go 4 stars because Sting had to show up at the end.
Jesus.
Wait, who do you just
After the match.
Wait,
The match was over already.
You showed your face.
Has nothing to do with the match.
Cash, who do you dislike?
I want to bring it up.
Who do you dislike more, Christian or Sting?
Always salty about Sting. And we got a super chat donation by the good brother, you my boy Blue, saying showing love from my favorite channel. Thank you, Blue. As always, we appreciate the support.
We'll with 8 ways.
Something like that.
Probably like 67.
And Tall Paul defeated QT Marshall in 3 minutes. That's all I got to say.
Wait,
I'm
can
not
I
even
give my
gonna.
thoughts?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Romeo, on CM Punk.
I love that they took their time. They let things breathe. Darby sold his ass off. Darby's not hurt with a loss. I like Punk selling exhaustion, rust. I like the raw emotion afterwards, cursing his ass off. And you know what? I don't want to spark a debate here. Let me just throw it out there though. I wouldn't have minded Punk losing. Punk is gonna lose few matches. Here you could get away with it. He's rusty. 7 years. You could tell a story with that. I wouldn't have minded it, but I don't care that he won either. So, and the fact that he can't lose in Chicago, give me a fucking break. Who cares?
That's why
you
you
could lose in
wouldn't
Chicago.
lose.
You can lose in Chicago.
Chicago gets everything.
Oh, he can't lose in Chicago.
I'm
Fuck
not even
Chicago.
gonna dignify that
They
response.
pull the biggest wrestling acquisition in their history, and they make
You
them lose
really-
debut.
You really hate Chicago.
Like, there's something
I
wrong.
don't
like,
know
what, he
why
can't
hate
lose?
Chicago so much,
Like, there's
bro.
no
That's-
logic there.
I saw him lost in UFC in Chicago. No problem.
That is a good point. Like I said before, Tall Paul defeated QT Marshall. If you want to talk about that, you can as we go around the horn. For your MVP of the night, let's start with Jensen. Who was the MVP of the show for you?
Oh God, that's on the spot. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe still CM Punk. I mean, it was Chicago. The place was going nuts. I mean, so I'll go with CM Punk as my MVP of the show.
I thought Chicago could have been a little better.
Oh God, Ness, who you got?
Tony Khan. He gave us this shit.
That's fair. That's very
That is fair. Top guy, JJ.
Yeah, that's a good honorable mention for Tony Khan, but I'm gonna go to MVPs. I'm going with the Lucha Bros here, like delivering the fucking tag match of the year and finally getting their moment. Yeah, Lucha Bros are MVPs for me.
StatKing.
Co-MVPs, Bucks and Lucha Bros.
Cash.
Ray Phoenix, Pentagon Zero, and Alex Abrahantes.
Jimmy.
Co-MVPs, Ray Phoenix and Nick Jackson.
Lovely. And Romeo.
Danielson, Lucha Bros, and Punk.
Just need the whole card.
I'm gonna go with the Lucha Bros, Adam Cole, and Bryan Danielson because those are the people that I will remember the most from the show.
It's 3-4. What's going on here?
Yeah, 4 ways. LVP, Romeo.
Jade Cargill, QT Marshall, and Adam Cole getting overshadowed by Danielson.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Jesus. Take him off the camera.
Every day.
Kidding me?
Cash.
Paul White in his 0.25 star match against QT Marshall, who's co-LVP with him.
Jimmy.
Who booked the women's battle royal?
Tony Khan once again gets an LVP from you.
I guess so. There you go. Take the LVP with you.
StatKing.
I'm gonna go with Paul White and QT Marshall. That just wasn't needed as a match.
Top guy, JJ.
Everyone involved in Paul White and QT Marshall. the run-ins, the buddies, everybody involved in that match.
Except for
Ness.
Nick Cage.
Yeah, I gotta go with that match as well. Even though Tony Khan booked that shit too.
Thank you, sir.
Jensen.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I also double loser points for Big Show. Not even if you're gonna come out and you're gonna do this, at least come out in the one strap black giant suit or something. Like I don't like the new get up at all. Like the whole thing's yeah.
You're not going to see it that often, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, here's the thing: if they use Big Show as a novelty in AEW, like once every couple times a year, something like that, okay. But definitely don't need to see it as regular part of the show anymore.
Billy Gunn says otherwise.
Gotta agree with all of y'all. It's Paul White and QT Marshall. I think it's unanimous based on the star ratings. The Lucha Bros and Young Bucks match of the night. Everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, one of the two best matches of the night.
Easy.
All right, put your thumbs in the middle. We're gonna give this show a thumbs up or thumbs down in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up and a slight thumbs up by Marcus Cash.
Really?
It's like it's
No,
80.
there's a-
He's at like an 80. He's at like an 85%.
Yeah,
You got the
It was
first
almost-
one from StatKing.
Almost
Yeah,
at a
Saki had
90
the
degree.
Orange Cassidy.
Almost at a 90-degree level for that. But that brings us to a close on another roundtable review. I want to thank this all-star cast of everyone who joined us on our biggest roundtable review yet. Jensen,
You don't want to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
That's going to take too much time, sir.
Because I was going to kill you if you gave it a 10.
I give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Oh, my. You're right. It's going to take too much time. You're right.
Jensen, thank you so much for joining us. You're doing great work over in the Fight Talk podcast, the Weekender podcast over on Fightful Select. Please let the people know where they can find you on social media and everything you're doing, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, y'all. This was a lot of fun. Fight Talk _ on Twitter. I'll keep everything updated there. I do some various YouTube shows with some different outlets and stuff, so I just put the links up there. If you're a fan of mixed martial arts, check out All Things MMA on YouTube. I edit videos and write scripts there as well on the mixed martial arts side. And as you mentioned, the Fightful Select Weekender podcast, that's every Sunday, mainly talking independent professional wrestling, a little bit of everything, but mainly focusing on the indies. I'm actually recording my next episode right after this because it was so busy yesterday. So there's going to be a lot of Game Changer Wrestling talk today on the Weekender. So subscribe over there at FightfulSelect.com. And thanks again, guys, for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you, brother, for joining us. Cash and Jimmy, where can they find you?
At My Battery Is Dying on the Twitter, where you too can block me like so many others have already.
Jimmy?
Jimmy Macram, Twitter, Instagram. M. Sidgwick stinks. This is a fact.
We gotta make that Twitter page.
Absolutely. M. Sidgwick's bad taste.
Truly heel Romeo, where can they find you?
True Hill Romeo, join me tonight after Raw. We can laugh. And yeah, it's a horrible show. Let's laugh together. Me and Drunk Guy JJ review after it goes off the air.
StatKing?
You guys can catch me on Dark Power, where we covered AEW Dark, AEW Elevation, and NWA Power, and Fusion of Honor with my co-host, three-time baby making champ Ness, where we talk about MLW Fusion and Ring of Honor.
Ness?
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, skinny__Kravitz. Right here in the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, one half of Fusion of Honor with the StatKing, the man of 1,004 numbers, where we review MLW Fusion and Ring of Honor. Catch me on Blunt Impact with Chris G, where we review Impact Wrestling. You can also catch me on X3, once again, Chris G, Romeo Anthony Cologne, where we review NXT.
Top Guy JJ.
On Instagram, you can find me at TrueHill_Top Guy JJ, and on the YouTube channel every Saturday with Chris C. Love and SP3 on the Anchor podcast True Hill Heat, and on some things like these, on these little fun roundtables and these review shows. But yes, every Saturday on the True Hill Heat channel for sure.
And you can find me at True Heel SP3. Of course, there's a bunch of great content to enjoy right now. True Heel Heat 141 with Steph Chase and Benno. You had the All Out Watch Along that was last night during the show. And of course, tonight, Rated Raw Superstars. So hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. Comment down below if you're watching us on replay. Like this video, share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family. And thank you so much for joining us live. Thank you to Jensen. Thank you to Romeo, Ness, Top Guy JJ, StatKing, Jimmy Macram, and Marcus Cash. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been our AEW All Out 2021 Roundtable Review. We are signing off until next time.
8.4 for the show. 8.